We should be live about now. I'm waiting for confirmation as usual.
But you can't do it yourself.
No, I'm busy with
Oh, there it is. Alright, yeah, Bad's playing. At least it's something different and not that stupid Adobe convention thing.
What is it with Adobe Convention?
Oh, well, I don't know if it's affecting anybody else, but for some reason, whenever I've been watching, like, YouTube videos and, the ads pop up, for some reason they keep playing this, advertisement for, like, oh, Adobe, like, live stream thing we're gonna do on, like, August 16th and whatnot. I'm like, dude, it's the freaking 19th, get rid of that shit!
Ah, right, yeah. Annoying, same commercials all the time. And thank you for cursing immediately. That's gonna help me indeed.
Well, hey, we gotta find some way to sell this series as not made for kids to appease the YouTube algorithm, whatever thing.
Fair enough. I'm sure every kid listening will run for the hills. I heard the S word, mommy. There you go. Ewan, may I thank you for this wonderful little drawing you made.
Yeah. One already. Was just like, oh crap, what the hell am I doing here? Sort of pose. And of course Salam's got his like sandwich because he's pretty much certain that they're too afraid to shove a hoagie in their mouth.
He looks hungry, so fair enough.
Give me the sandwich.
Sandwich.
He still looks
sandwich.
Yeah.
Moist and delicious.
Run from the sandwich.
Right. Oh, who knows? It might be the most effective weapon. We didn't see the Sonic characters try it, so we never know.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Well, the granted, whilst looking at the picture, it does look as though Luke is poking Roger in his left ear. It's like, oi, do an action pose. Come on.
Yeah, get the earwax out.
Thank you, Luke. He's just angry at me for drawing him as a Gungan.
Yeah. These are called Loki.
These are little pigs.
Yeah. These are Loki pigs.
Now do a Brian Blessed impression for the leader.
That was it.
Yeah, that was.
I got the live.
I'm just wearing my headset, so I can't do it effectively.
What a shame. But yeah, Luke, why did you want me to draw you as a Gungan? Did anything happen to you?
Oh, yeah, last Saturday I went to this Star Wars fan exhibition in London called The Fans Strike Back, a Star Wars exhibition, which has loads of displays of various Star Wars props, costumes, equipment, like lightsabers, and also has loads of merchandise on display. And you also have some of them little dioramas, like you have one on with all the characters in Mos Espa, one in Mos Eisley. You would have ones with AT-AT going across snow. You also have like custom-made action figures, various also like various lots of action figures, lots of merchandise as well, like from R2D2, like display of R2D2, and also there's like places where you could like get photo opportunities. I think I might have said costumes, but and also at the very end, you got this little VR experience where it's not exactly you're in the Star Wars universe, but you're in like some kind of space. You're on a spaceship and you go through space and you get to this big space station, and also you were sitting in this vibrating chair, so you could probably like feel the turbulence as the spaceship goes off. It kind of got ruined because it got the wireframe mesh you get when you're in VR, and I kind of felt it like ruins the immersion a bit. But other than that, it was pretty good. Then after that, me and Dad went to the Natural History Museum
to poke fun at the dinosaurs.
We did well. I think we had tickets at the time, but we had a look at various animals and stuff.
But yeah, seeing the you sitting down on the Emperor's chair, I imagine you'd be saying,
"Do it." Yes, especially in my shorts. So like, it's the Emperor in his summer wear.
Turn on the AC. Do it.
I've got my beach body ready.
I love the little skier on Planet Hoth. Did it actually happen in the movie? They use skiers?
Yeah, no. These are just like fan-made little dioramas that people made.
It's just for fun. All right.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, good stuff. Is this temporary exhibition, I suppose?
Yes, I think it is a temporary exhibition. Yeah, I think it is still on in London.
All right, because I ain't going to England until next year, January, so it's probably gone.
Yeah,
Right now.
yeah, pretty much.
Oh, well.
Never know.
Maybe my wife can see it. She goes in a couple of weeks to bother you.
Well, we'll go into
Not
the zoo.
everyone of England.
Indeed. But yeah, so, Star Wars, cool stuff. I guess you had a good time. As for me, I've been playing Bump Rush Cyberpunk a little bit. It's pretty awesome. Jet Set Radio follow-up. I had no idea it was actually based on the Netherlands. That kind of took me by surprise. Because it still looks so very Tokyo-esque, but the whole city has all kind of like Dutch pun names and all that, and all the main characters have Dutch names, so that was fun. Apparently the developers are actually Dutch. But yeah, other than that, I love it. It's Jet Set Radio, but you can also do karate and punch people this time, so that's great. It's very difficult, though. So we'll see. I didn't play it too much yet. Yeah, Sala, you've got anything going on?
Yeah, so, last weekend, I went down to a town called Bakersfield to go to a convention where I got to meet and personally talk with Jason Griffith, Lisa Ortiz, and Pete Capella. And I got all of their autographs on a specially made poster that I designed using Sonic Channel artwork. And, yeah, I first off, I was not expecting Jason to sign it twice, but he did that free of charge. I mean, he did the second one free of charge. First one cost me $60.
Oh wow!
But yeah, but I even after I got all the signatures, I'd stop by their booths every now and then and have a little chat when they weren't busy. And yeah, I even got to off my Sonic voice for Jason. Like, I told him I'm an aspiring actor who would love to voice Sonic one day, and he asked to hear my Sonic voice, and so I did it for him, and he said he was impressed.
Too bad there weren't any of the Sonic Boom actors. Then you could show off all your Sonic Boom villager voices, because you're pretty good at those.
Specifically, Fastidious Beaver.
Oh yeah, because he's voiced by Mike Pollock. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, if you talked to Mike Pollock, you could have shown that off. And Sora the Eagle.
I actually have shown Mike Pollock my impression of Fastidious Beaver.
Ah.
And his response was just that the actor he based it off of would have been proud. Because Mike has like a thing against like giving out advice for free.
Okay.
So I guess any thoughts he had would be considered advice.
Okay, weird philosophy, but I guess it's his thing.
So basically, the whole thing is just like, oh, I tell you, but you got to pay me first.
But did you already pay him just to talk to him anyway? So.
Well, no. The time I sent him the recording of me doing Fastidious was just like over the internet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then it's a different story.
Oh yeah,
I didn't even think about it when I went to meet him in Sacramento a few months ago.
Oh yeah, that is kind of interesting how voice actors having to be paid to get advice and whatnot. Now I'm just kind of thinking like the voice of Moneybags from the Spyro games being all like, well, I could give you some voice acting tips for a small fee.
A small fee.
Yeah.
A few gems.
Yeah, a few 1,000 gems won't hurt.
That's indeed chicken feet. No problem. Alrighty, Melting Man, you got something to bore us with? Something exciting
Yeah, I
you're
guess so. Well, let's see. Well, recently I've kind of been in the mood for American McGee's Alice. So recently I've been playing through the first game, which is the PS3 version, because I got that with the whole Alice Madness Returns deal. Although I have played the original on PC, which was took quite a time to try and find a copy of that, but I'm sure nowadays it's even more rare. But yeah, I played both versions. There's definitely differences, like one instance is like all the different weapons that you acquire, like the jack bomb and the eye staff. Those are mapped to like certain numbers on the keyboard for the PC version. But of course on console you can't do that, so you gotta scroll through with the shoulder buttons, which can be a bit annoying, especially when you're in a tight spot fighting off like card guards and Boogems, which as anyone who's played the game will pretty much tell you that Boogems are one of the most annoying enemies in that game, next to the Snarks.
Yeah, I played the game. They were pretty annoying. But yeah, pretty cool game.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very nice, and it's kind of sad how it kind of feels like nowadays it just feels like McGee's Alice has really been falling into obscurity, and that's mostly just to a number of things, and that's mostly all blame to EA, because you know with how the company is kind of known for being the spawn of Satan when it comes to games. So like, one, they can't be bothered importing the games on newer consoles. Two, they're not willing to sell the Alice license to any other company because, you know, they're just sitting on it and doing absolutely fucking nothing with it. And three, they were pretty much the ones that caused American McGee to retire from gaming after his pitch for Alice Asylum got rejected, even after all the planning and the production Bible thing that he made, which is actually available to download for free on his Patreon, so you can go and check that out and see the second sequel that never was. It's an interesting read. Lots of visuals and dialogue and everything.
It's American McGee's own fault. He should have pitched Alice 3 as a FIFA game.
But yeah, I remember. Yeah, there is a funny story with McGee's Alice. I actually remember seeing this like years ago when I was much younger. So the first game came out in 2000, so that was definitely a long time. And I remember I saw like the box art for it. It was very interesting. The version I saw was the ice one, and not the classic Vorpal Blade one. But still, the visuals just really caught my attention. It's like, oh wow, this is creepy and different. But of course, I didn't play it because I was too young to play an M-rated game. So years went by, I kind of forgot about it, and then I rediscovered it from when I saw this fan-made animation that someone did of the Hatter, like, you know, setting up tea. So it kind of acts like a deleted scene in a way, just more fan-made. But yeah, it's thanks to that story that I rediscovered the games and became a fan of it, as well as becoming a fan of the Hatter, who is one of my favorite designs of the character, how he's this weird automaton creature in the giant top hat. And funny enough, I actually couldn't do a decent voice impression of the guys. I used to do them in some old RP sessions I did with my teenage years.
I love the detail he's in a straitjacket. Wasn't this level also like a combination between like a madhouse and a clock?
Yeah, his domain in the first game was this combination of an asylum and his weird factory thing. Because, yeah, in the first game he's gone so mad that he's capturing Wonderland creatures and torturing them and turning them into his automatons. And, of course, the poor March Hare and Dormouse are one of those victims. Yeah. In the second game, it's much more steampunk and factory-based in the Hatter's domain.
Fair enough. And that's why he's your favorite character, because you want to trap all kinds of animals in your evil factory.
Well, then the top hat and kind of the voice. Yeah, I fear nothing. False! You fear much! A return trip to the asylum, for example, the memories that drove you there, more years and, shall we say, supervised hospitalization. Ah, yes, you fear much! Of course, all that might be avoided.
Well, there you go.
That was really impressive.
Ah, yeah, thanks. Yeah, I used to do that voice years ago on a RP, role-play video series I used to do with some friends during my teenage years. Like, oh, I play the Hatter who decides to join the resistance of, like, fighting off an army. So this was mostly based off of the second game where he's kind of reformed, just a little more zany. But yeah, we never really completed that, mostly because of some conflicts between us. Mostly a lot of behind-the-scenes drama, so yeah. It was fun while it lasted, but, you know, it is what it is.
Alas, video games with one man brains behind it isn't a thing anymore. Unless it's an indie game, I suppose. Oh well, but enough of that. Back to the Blue Hedgehog. Because that's what we're all about, aren't we? Sonic X 2 episodes, and then next time we're gonna get the finale. That's gonna be crazy. So,
Oh yes, it's definitely a smart move to do 2 episodes today because there's gonna be a lot to say about the next episode.
indeed.
Well, not quite like that, but sure.
I don't know. I mean, for some of us, it'll be freedom.
Oh yeah, Ewan will no longer have to deal with Chris Thorndike. Yeah.
Poor guy.
Indeed.
So, anyone wants to do a synopsis of Sonic
Nate,
X?
Nate, I want to do it. Dibs.
There you go.
It's so... Okay. Okay, so this episode starts with Boken showing the monitor thing to the crew because Eggman left a message saying that he's been spying on the Meta-X and apparently they've all been captured, but he has left coordinates for them. And then Cosmo noticed there's a timer going down. I thought, what's that doing? And Boken says, I forgot that these monitors still do it. And then we get an explosion, sort of an explosion in the zoomed out. So basically, they're all preparing for the big final battle. Of course, Knuckles is looking out for like Cosmo, and he gets made fun of. Tails gives Cosmo a bit of a reassurance, and so they all get prepared for the epic final battle in Meta-X space, and they all got like tons of ships going on. Tails has got a secondary bridge going on. Sorted out, and so they also left Shadow behind on the dead planet. Then suddenly a foot appeared. Then so as they go in, they're all like prepared for all what's going on. See, I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, they're all scramble fighters. You know, like they all get their own ships. Like Amy goes in her ship. Cream gets her own starfighter. So it's all like something out of Star Fox. And so like they all shooting stuff. Then suddenly a ship comes out, which turns out to be the Chaotix. They've got Shadow in tow, and so there's all these ships going on, all this epic space battle going on. Chris gets into the ship, and also the Chaotix crash their ship into the mothership, which. Well, they sadly lost the office, so that's a problem there. So yes, sorry, a bit of a brain fart. So basically, Chris tries to break out Eggman, but of course he doesn't need Chris's help because he can get Deco and Boko to turn into a drill thing, and they just broke out anyway because they could do that whenever they like. So Shadow and like smashes up all the things. Yes. Sorry about this. Just trying to remember what was going on because there was a lot going on in this thing. Because
Cream blows people up, and she's all happy.
Yes, Cream was like shooting like missiles. That was pretty badass of her. And
don't fuck with Green Rabbit.
Yes, there was also a really hilarious bit where Shadow was beating up the enemies, like two with Dark Oak is, but he says nothing, so like throws him into the background and explodes. It was like something out of an Asterix comic. And, now Dark Oak was like, right, jettison everything, jettison all the rooms, including the bathroom. So like all the cube, all the rooms, they just disappear. So like Eggman and Chris, they all fall into the same area as the Chaotix, and they all manage to get away because what was left in its place is a giant tree. So because what they want to do is something like a forestation thing. So they all got the Chaos Emeralds so that make it look like they're turning it into like the ultimate Christmas tree. When it turns out, they are planning to use it to ascend to godhood. And there was a bit where the two of the Meta-X, before I just remembered it now, two of the Meta-X go and attack the Blue Typhoon. It was kind of like that boss fight in Star Fox 64 with the two enemies. The Black Narcissus, he was like admiring himself in the mirror. Knuckles and Rouge they all try to fight him. And there was a bit where Knuckles was spinning Rouge round and round and round. I'm surprised she hasn't been throwing up right into him. Smashes his mirror. He goes like, "You broke my mirror!" And like, and of course, they've all been. There's a lot of fighting going on there. So anyway, with the big forestation thing, what the Meta-X leaders are planning to do is like ascend to godhood and merge with the giant tree, and basically they turn themselves into a big 3 dragon-headed creature. It was like the Gliok King from Tears of the Kingdom, which gives you a bit. Ooh. And they also created a load of tendrils and things. So the finished result looks like a JRPG boss, or basically a cooler version of The End, because then the dragon heads they attacked Sonic. He was crashing right into the Blue Typhoon, but he was all right afterwards. And basically, Amy's ship gets a bit wrecked, and Sonic rescues her, and I don't know if it has like a final name, like just call it the Meta-X fusion deforestation thing. So like how they'll destroy all life and be reborn anew. That sort of spiel that a JRPG god boss would normally say, and Sonic would say like, "No, that's a boring world, mate. I won't live in such a world." And so, basically, then the Meta-X Dark Oak would say they'd perish, and there's like a load of water going out. There's a load of water going out, and Sonic like goes into the big giant planet egg thing and has seemingly drowned.
The end of the series. Yay!
Game over.
I just want to point out what I do like about like the world tree, the tree, and the whole Meta-X dragon-headed thing is like some kind of like reference to like Norse mythology. Like you could see like the tree being like the world tree Yggdrasil, and the 3-headed dragons could be similar to the world serpent Jormungandr, and also the end. But Ragnarok itself is basically what the end is called, because they represent the end of all, just as how Ragnarok is the Norse end of all things.
No, that's the next episode. Next episode we get the end. Now we get our rocket space enemy.
Yeah, because I have like noticed how like the Japanese like to incorporate Norse mythology in like all their like JRPG things, because like it's not a JRPG without like some kind of reference to Norse mythology, like the world tree and so forth.
Indeed, it's very JRPG. Yes, agreed. Sorry, Melting Man, go ahead.
The whole like anger and sadness thing constantly in the Japanese version. But yeah, with the giant tree thing, like, I think we all know what the real identity of that thing is. It's actually red pine.
He's finally useful. He's finally useful.
Yay! He didn't die after all. He was just he got better.
He regret himself.
Poor Red Pine. He's my favorite Meta-X, and how useless he is.
Yeah, I just like how compared to like, the very early episodes, this makes Sonic X so much cooler. Like I had no idea they had all these epic space battles and serious themes of darkness and despair. And there was a really terrifying bit that as the Meta-X transformed, all their armor fell off, and they looked like horrific looking root creatures.
Indeed,
yeah, that was pretty terrifying. Yeah.
And it's true, the Sonic X hasn't really done anything of this skill. I mean, I guess Sonic Adventure would have been this if it had more than 6 episodes to smash its whole story in, I suppose. But yeah, see, the first season or the whole Earth arc never really had a big climax now. So yeah, guess we finally get a big climax. So cool.
Yeah, where they decided like, we'll begin New World Order by turning ourselves into King Ghidorah. And where's Godzilla when you need him?
To be fair to Sonic X, here's one of the rare cases where it's already foreshadowed that the villains could morph into monsters. Because you already saw that in a flashback that they turned into those dumb Godzilla things. So I guess this is like a super version of that. Usually in JRPGs you don't get any warning. It's just like, it's just a video game. The What was a normal guy is suddenly like giant tower of monstrous flesh, just to have an epic final boss, I guess. Like Final Fantasy loved that thing. Like that was so weird in Final Fantasy 6 where you fight Kefka who's just a clown and all of a sudden there's a giant tower of faces. Like what the heck is that? What am I even fighting?
Yeah, I was playing Dragon Quest VIII where you have to follow this evil clown guy called Dolmagus, and then he turns himself this big buff blue creature person.
Yeah.
Buff Smurf, I guess.
Yes.
Comes with a JRPG enemy kit, I guess. Just the ability to morph into something scary. Oh well. Yeah, what to say? There was one detail I found interesting. Like they make a big point that they waited for the event only happens once in every 1,000 years, and Dark Oak even literally says, "I waited 1,000 years for this." Like, are you that old? I was kind of confused about that.
I waited 1,000 years for this.
It would be funny if he's like an old man who's barely keeping it together. He's like the knight in Lost Crusade for Indiana Jones. Like he can barely move.
Yeah, the armor breaks off and he's secretly the Deco Tree.
This kind of was done also in the 2007 TMNT movie where like this immortal guy was waiting for these planets to align so he could send these 13 creatures back to undo his immortality or something.
Oh yeah. Well, classic trope, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I can imagine like checking his calendar like every year to see when the event's coming up.
Poor guy.
He's like, oh, yep, still 987 years to go.
Yeah, but just imagine if he forgot and he just like looked at the calendars like, oh fuck, I gotta wait another 1,000 years for this bloody thing.
Yeah, I missed it.
What a time to sleep in.
I slept in.
Damn daylight savings, you ruined me.
He got hooked on World of Warcraft and had the worst time, yeah.
You know, like maybe not daylight savings, maybe it's jet lag with the different time zones.
That would be great.
He's like, oh shit, I forgot I moved.
Yeah, he was looking at the wrong constellation.
Or he just realised he was in the wrong location the whole time.
My map was upside down, no!
Like, oh, you're looking for 000. Like, no, this is 01.
No, your map is 1,000 years old. It's out of date. The geographical locations have changed since.
Exactly.
Oops. That'll be fun, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just imagining the awkwardness if like he's doing all that big speech sort of thing and destroyed his whole ship. And it's like, here comes the event that happens every 1,000 years, but then realizes like nothing's happening. It's like, it happens every 1,000 years. Come on. Don't leave me hanging.
Yeah, it will go badly for you. You watch.
He's like a day early, so we just have to stare at each other for a whole day awkwardly. Anyone has a good
Thank
video?
God this worked. Would have been really awkward if the legends weren't true.
Yeah, so maybe he just gets bored and goes to Sonic's like, hey, do you guys give me a lift back home?
There is no home, you destroyed it. Oh, right.
It's just like big epic villain speech and then nothing happened. He's like, so I'd like to make some apologies.
That's a big list of apologies considering all the deaths and planets he destroyed.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to apologize the lion people I killed in that one planet, and
He has to write a letter for every single like mother who's lost her son, or every single wife who lost her husband, and all that.
I can imagine like him saying, like, anyone lost his Christmas tree?
Does that make up for it?
but yeah, instead of apologizing, he just goes to all the planets and gives them all IOUs.
Sorry.
Oh man. Wait, just how many planets did you destroy?
69, dudes!
Whoa.
No, I think you mean he actually destroyed.
69 dudes.
Ooh, satanic.
There we go.
On a 6.
669 dudes.
Yeah, because he's sexist. He doesn't harm the women.
Well, he did. He murdered Cosmo and all our family members.
Not only just the men, but the women and children too.
And the pets. Like, no, don't kill the dog.
All beasts, I
Killing-
guess.
Or the duck.
Killing the dog? That's a JoJo reference.
What is it these days?
I walked into that one, didn't I?
Yeah.
Right. What more to say about this episode? So this is the only time we ever get to see a fight against the other two Metaric generals, right? Because Yellow's
yeah, I think
the yellow guy's
There
the
was
only one
that-
that gets a proper fight. Everyone else has a short fight of 5 seconds, but that's about it.
yeah. Well, I mean, there was that one episode with Black Narcissus and the Dark Sonic bit, but yeah, didn't really do much to attack. He just sent those other guys.
Yeah.
All he did was just fall back into his chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my arthritis.
Ah, my spine!
Ah, my spleen. I shouldn't have had those chili. I shouldn't have had those chili dogs.
Curse my flat-footedness.
Man, it's so weird for me to see the Chaotix finally used in a serious story where they don't just four wall breaking all the time, although they still kind of did. And SPO actually
Yeah,
gets to be
they-
cool for once.
Yeah, and they kept track on how many times they were in, which was 4, I think.
Yeah, so like in the Japanese version, they're like, show some respect for us recurring characters. We've only been in like 4 episodes.
So
But
this
yeah, the
climax
English-
alone doubles their appearances. Wow.
But yeah, in the English dub, they cut that out, so instead they just continue on with their banter about getting paid for their services.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Boring.
Yeah, boring, but then again, that's 4 kids.
I prefer that over
But yeah,
four
I
wall
did-
jokes. Yeah, go ahead, Sella.
But I did like seeing Black Narcissus and Pale Bayleaf fight. Mainly, but there's this one scene where like Tails fires like laser cannon at them, and Black Narcissus just casually holds up a mirror and reflects the lasers back at the cannon.
Yeah, have a taste of your own medicine. Pew pew.
It's just like, wow, that laser cannon did nothing.
Yeah.
Poor Tails.
It's my secret laser cannon.
Yeah, and oh yeah, the other thing that I noticed, the whole deal with Knuckles trying to like defend Cosmo and make her feel comfortable and whatnot. Yeah, surprisingly, that entire scene is removed in the English stuff. So like after they take off, it cuts to Shadow, and then he starts walking, and then we see Vector's foot. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Guess it's removed for time.
Yeah, because I've noticed, like, with 4 kids having to cut out stuff, they usually remove, like, I don't know, like 5 to 7 minutes of footage in each episode.
Indeed.
So I guess that was the big one they wanted to cut out, outside of just, like, shortening some scenes here and there.
It's kind of weird that Dr. Eggman is so fatherly against Chris. I mean, he's pretty much the nicest guy towards Chris. I mean, even when in the jail cell sequence, where after Robotnik shows he didn't need to be saved at all, he still takes the time to go up to Chris and thanks him for it.
I think it's because he sees Chris as someone who's sort of more as intelligent as him, being as he's all into like science and stuff.
Maybe he sees him as
Oh,
his
yeah.
son. After all, Chris's hair is the same color as his mustache. Dun, dun,
For a minute, I
dun.
thought you were going to say, oh, reminded him of Sora.
Sure, why not? Robotnik
But
is a
yeah,
big Kingdom Hearts fan, I guess.
But yeah, I like this. Yeah, I like the whole jailbreak scene, mostly because it just shows even more proof that Deku and Boko are 10 times better than Orbot and Cubot.
I just love
Yep.
seeing Robotnik in action. I wish we saw more of that in the video games. It's so great to see Robotnik with a big smile just running around a big spaceship trying to fight him. It's great.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of Robotnik, I noticed that it seems like this episode actually predates something from Sonic Lost World, and that was the whole like the buckle thing that he uses to contact Bokoon.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah.
Oh yeah, his nipple thing.
Yeah, his golden other
He
nipple.
did also in Sonic Frontiers.
Yep, but I guess here it happens first.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, these 2
Yeah.
episodes really do feel like a Sonic Frontiers foreshadowing. Jeez. But yeah, the big moment is at the final of the next episode. We got our favorite Sonic Frontiers character to show up. Rock and Space, yes!
And also, what I've noticed with all these Sonic characters in starships, fighting enemies in space and all that, it's kind of the closest thing for a Star Fox anime.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Wasn't there like talks about a Star Fox series, but it didn't go anywhere?
Yeah, it was going to be on Netflix. It was going to be the same people who made that Fantastic Mr. Fox parody, but it accidentally got leaked because there was like rumors about like Zelda on Netflix. And apparently they were going to do that, but apparently it got leaked along with that, so it was the whole thing was scrapped.
That's a shame.
Yeah, that sucks.
I
feel like
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like Star Fox is like prime material for like, television or episodic things, with its world and galaxies and whatnot, especially with the characters and maybe help Crystal get some attention because it seems like she's just been ignored for so long. And I kind of people will be like, "Oh, it's because the furries demonized it, did all the sexual stuff, blah blah blah." No, I think in some ways I feel like it's was it that Star Fox game on DS with having like too many different branching paths? I feel like that game was kind of the reason that kind of destroyed Crystal in a way because of the too many choices where she can leave the group or join the group or marries Fox, and it's not that kind of thing. Really boils down to, okay, if we're gonna count this game in the story, which ending are we gonna count as canon? Because there's too many to pick from.
Guess that's why they did the reboot. But yeah, now Nintendo is a theme park. You'd think they would be happy about more TV shows to get more of a presence. But we'll see. But yeah, it doesn't look too good for Star Fox. Poor guys. Oh well.
Yeah, about as abandoned and forgotten as Donkey Kong and F-Zero and anything not related to Mario and Zelda.
Or Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Pokemon, yeah. And of course, poor Samus still waiting in development hell for Metroid Prime 4, which I kind of feel like at this point the project's just been scrapped and they just haven't bothered announcing it. But who knows?
Yeah, it's pretty much the Nintendo equivalent of Half-Life 3 because you don't know if it's actually going to come out now or not.
Yeah, Metroid Prime 4, sharing a room with Half-Life 3 and Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I kind of sucks with Beyond Good and Evil because the first game ended on a cliffhanger, but then the second game is going to be a prequel that's seemingly unrelated. So even if you're desperately waiting for that game to follow up on the story, you're going to be disappointed anyway.
Well, I think the plan is that at first it was going to be a sequel. Then they decided to do a prequel, and then next they decided to go back to making it a sequel, and now we're just stuck with, okay, well, what the hell's is it going to be now? Because now the director's gone, and who knows if it's going to continue.
Oof. Oh well. What a shame. I guess someone has to make a fan game of it.
Yeah. And make a fan game of McGee's Alice. Like an HD remaster from the ground up. Because obviously EA ain't gonna bother doing that.
Nope.
Yeah. I mean, in some ways it's like, yeah, that would be like great and perfect. I mean, come on, you got like Black Mesa, which is like this fan-made remake of the first Half-Life game. Why not do the others? But maybe I'm just asking too much.
Yeah. Well, hey, what's stopping you from learning Lua and trying it for yourself?
I have an early morning shift, so my time is very limited. Full-time stuff.
Fair enough. Takes a lot of time. Yeah, we can talk endlessly about all the Mega Man Legends free out there, all the tragedies. But back to Sonic X, I guess.
Yeah. So there was kind of a funny moment I liked in the 4Kids dub. There's like a in the original one, like Shadow is holding one of the Metarex like drones just by its neck and is like, "Tell me where Dark Oak is," and then like a whole bunch more show up and he's like, "Ah, he must be that way." But in the English dub, he's just like, "Tell me where Dark Oak is," and then all the other ones show up. He's just like, "Never mind." Throws the one he was holding. I don't know why it's so funny to me that like he's threatening this robot that, as far as he knows, doesn't talk.
I guess he's been watching too much of that one version of Batman. Yeah. Where are the other drugs going?
Where's the bomb?
Yeah.
He's hoping that Christian Bale might voice Shadow in Sonic the Movie 3.
Oh God, no! Please, no!
Oh, no.
Oh.
Well, Ben Affleck, no.
Chaos control.
Chaos Spear. I promise you, Maria, revenge.
You're not even good enough to be my fake.
Can we just get the Jar Jar Binks voice actor to do it instead?
Yeah. I mean, he's a pretty good actor, so like, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure he can do some decent voices outside of the Star Wars character.
Probably. I hope that's not his natural voice.
Yeah.
Poor guy. But right, we'll see.
Yeah, but of course we'll see if it'll even happen, because with the writers and the writers and actors strike, that's still going on.
Well, they're doing the filming right now of scenes that don't involve live action actors, so they're still working on it.
Yeah, they're working on it, but of course now it only makes me wonder, like, okay, on one hand they'll do that, and then when the strike's over, they'll get the actors back. I mean, on the other hand, if it doesn't end, then we're either going to be dealing with a Sonic characters only film, or the human characters are going to be replaced with, like, horrible AI creations.
Ooh.
I guess a lot of people will be happy if there's less humans in it.
Yeah, I mean, The Flash got a lot of flack for that whole using AI stuff on deceased actors, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And it didn't even look good.
Then again, Sonic Movie 3 actors aren't dead yet, so, yeah.
Yeah, well, unless they pull off a Sega and, the whole excuse with Gun, like, oh, everyone died at the end.
Jeez, who knows, yeah. But nah, that's, it's more a Paramount thing. I don't think Sonic Team or Sega have much to say about the movie, so, I don't think
Sega's not that involved with the movie Sonic, as far as I know, yeah.
So I'm sure Sonic Movie 3 is going to have flaws, but not the Sonic Team typical flaws, no. They have their own flaws.
At least they actually treat the stuff with respect, like the whole humans deal. Like, yeah, we have humans, but we can make them work this time, and not just lazily kill them off screen in some random YouTube video.
Yeah, that's so weird, because in the latest IDW they go back to Spagonia, but they go out of the way to never show any civilians. Like, they're still trying to sneak away. Like, no, humans still exist in a Schrodinger's cat dimension, I guess. Like, they technically exist, but they not really exist.
Yeah, like, oh no, they're not. They're humans, but they look like shapeless blobs. Yeah, that's what humans look like, right? Like, no, Sega, you're drunk. Go home.
World building, they suck at it.
Yeah, well, it's not like in the Archie Sonic days where they could do almost anything, but yeah, IDW's really under that tight grip of Sega, so they gotta appease the damn mandates and
Guess we'll never find out what the logic behind it is. But anyway, we're off topic yet again.
Yeah.
Man, I love the sequence of the dragon go through the spaceship. Oh, sorry, Luke.
There's a funny bit that I kind of want to point out is where Black Narcissus encounters Knuckles and Rouge. He says, like, ugh, what are these horrible, ugly things? And Rouge is like, hey, I'm not ugly, I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Was he referring to Knuckles and Rouge, or was he referring to two things specifically with Rouge?
He was referring to both Knuckles and Rouge. Called them both ugly.
Yeah, I think that's only in the Japanese version. I don't remember that in the English dub.
Yeah, in the English dub, he just, like, boasts a bit, and Rouge says, hey, I'll knock you down a peg.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, isn't the guy in armor, so every single time he looks in the mirror to admire himself, he's basically admiring his armor?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when, like, Rouge, like, attacks him, and he's like, ha, you should have seen the look on your face when I broke that mirror. Like, what do you mean? He has the same expression with that damn mask on.
Yeah. It was kind of confusing, yeah. I mean, maybe they can look through the glass of the mirror, I guess. But then again, they were surprised when they saw Yellow Sokovia for the first time, so I guess not. I don't know.
Yeah,
Guess I didn't think that through.
Yeah, like, I mean, how does Rouge know that a Black Narcissus can be expressive, or if he's actually just a deadpan?
Indeed. But yeah, I was really surprised. Not only do the other Metarex not really get a fight, but they are never outside of their armor either. Because I was expecting all of them to kind of show how they really look, just like Yellow Sakova did. I mean, I guess they showed up in the flashback last episode, but
I think they just pretty much reject their own humanity.
Yeah, I guess that's the point, yeah. I mean, in the end, they turned themselves to a blobbish, brainless monster, so... I guess that's the ultimate expression of I don't matter as a personality, I suppose. But yeah, I really love the scene of the dragon.
Word it like that.
What was that, Salah?
I was asking Luke, why'd you specifically have to word it like that?
Yes! I was thinking about that.
Yeah, shapeless.
I reject my humanity, Sonic!
Yeah.
And how fitting that Sonic's final challenge is water.
Yeah.
Yep.
They thought about that.
Water, my one weakness.
No, even more appropriate, not just water. Sonic's ultimate defeat is getting vored.
Oh, boy. The Fur Affinity death, yeah. Was I the only one who was laughing when Sonic just grabbed Amy and just threw her out in space? It's like, God, I mean, technically he's saving her, but it looks so funny.
Yeah, he was like, oh, now.
Yeah, pink hedgehog's not in the menu.
I mean, I was constantly laughing in these 2 episodes how casually everyone just constantly jumps out of their spaceship and just flies around in space. Like, the previous episodes, I mean, sure, Sonic and friends can always breathe in space, so it was never that dangerous. But it still made a point that you can't propulse yourself in space, so you're just aimlessly flailing to your death. And yet, in this episode, they don't care. They just constantly just jump out of their spaceships and hop around like nothing's happening. Just Sonic tossing Amy into space. So, see ya. It kind of made me laugh how careless they are.
It kind of reminds you of that one bit from Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, that Kingdom Hearts chain of memory. Yeah, I gotta go now. I'm probably get myself killed. You stay here. Well, farewell. Yeah.
Always love it when space is treated like nothing.
Yeah. But the whole thing with being eaten up is like, hey, with all the Sonic Frontier predictions we've been saying, like, hey, here's something that actually predates Sonic Forces. You know, with being eaten by the giant snake.
Oh.
Then again, didn't get this. Oh well, yeah, it did. Yeah. Damn, Forces and Frontiers did get a lot of predictions here. How shocking.
Yeah.
Nothing like Infinite here. So Frontiers is still ripped off the most.
Well, on the plus side, it's a good thing that there's nothing that predates Infinite, because Infinite sucks.
Infinite could have been cool, it's just really underutilized.
Yeah.
But that's a rant for another day. Or a rant I already had 1,000,000 times, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, the many rants of Sonic Forces that you've done, yeah.
It's a rant for another day, and that day has passed.
Multiple times. It's so weird because I don't really hate Forces that much, but just thinking about the missed opportunities just sets me off. But off topic yet again.
Yes.
Anything else to say, Sala?
There was like the same thing with Yellow Zelkova that one time when the Metarex's armor breaks, their voices still sound robotic.
Yeah, that's so weird. Like they still keep doing that in the English dub. Yeah.
Maybe it's not their armor itself. Maybe they actually have like a voice box in their throat, like they have throat cancer or something. Like net.
No, they have like one of those voice. No, they have one of those voice changing toys, and they accidentally ate it, and it's stuck in their throats.
There you go.
I thought it was a block of cheesecake. I was terribly wrong.
Oh well, we can't come up with a comical answer for that.
Oh, and ironically enough, at the beginning of the episode, during the little TV message Eggman sent them, at least in the 4Kids dub, Tico and Boka's voices weren't robotic.
Oh really? Whoops.
So we just got to hear...
that is true. Yeah.
Yeah, we just got to hear Tico and Boka's voice actors naturally, which sounded so off.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, it's the only time that happens.
it's so weird because like it's been so consistent that that's never happened up to this point. That it just sounds really weird, and it made me realize, oh my god, there was actually a voice actor recording these characters. Like, obviously I knew that, but somehow my brain pushed that thought out until hearing them without, like, the vocal effects. It's like, oh my god, that's just a person.
It's a person trapped in a robot. Somebody help him!
You get Daniels from Star Wars out of it. What's the name again? The C-3PO guy.
Anthony Daniels.
There you go. I was kind of surprised because when the television explodes, you get this far-off shot, and this tiny explosion. I was expecting 4Kids to make a joke out of that, like there was no explosion or something. Like, oh, that's it. But no, they did act like it was a big explosion anyway. It was kind of confusing to me. Oh, well.
Yeah. I guess Bo-Katan did say, like, oh, it's been so long, I forgot about this.
Yeah, he did say that, but again, it looks so small and pathetic. I thought that was the joke, but you were supposed to take the explosion serious, I guess.
Well, I think most of the time it's either been faraway shots or... Well, it's been a mixture of faraway shots, off-screen, and a few on-screen.
Well, that's true. It's always off-screen or far away, but you always see a big cloud with fire out of it. Here you just see a tiny little puff. So I thought that was the joke, like the bomb didn't go off or something, but no, they do treat it as a real explosion.
Yeah, it's just a style, and I guess they needed some kind of excuse to destroy the main station so that Tails can show off his backup station.
Yeah, that was such an important scene. Like, oh, we'll randomly blow up the piloting gears just to replace him immediately. Like, okay.
For some reason when they showed off that extra cockpit and the control room and everything, for some reason I was getting Doctor Who vibes, like specifically from the Fourth Doctor era, because there was a time when they showed off like, oh yeah, the TARDIS has like a backup control station, which kind of has this like steampunk look to it, and they used that for a while, and then they went back to the standard one.
I thought that the TARDIS had a different interior for every Doctor, like every Doctor has its own personality.
Yeah, it always changes.
Yeah, it's always changing, so yeah. And I guess with how the Blue Typhoon doesn't really have much of a actual map and kind of relies on TARDIS logic, I guess that was what reminded me of it.
But yeah, then from an artistic perspective, why the heck do you desperately want to change the look of the cockpits like during the last 4 episodes when the final battle is going on? I don't think many people are paying attention to how the cockpit looks like at this point.
Budget cuts, that's the reason.
If there's budget cuts, would you want to just keep the same cockpit so you don't need a new set? So you can reuse the same drawn backgrounds?
Well, I mean, the new one is much smaller, so I guess.
But again, in animation, you could just recycle the same background drawing, so that will save more money.
Unless they got burned in a fire.
Maybe so. I guess. Oh, well.
The world may never know of why they showed off a new cockpit near the end of the series.
It's a bit random, yeah. But then again, that's Sonic X for you, I suppose. So, shall we move on to the next one?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, next one.
Yep.
Dun dun dun! So, anyone wants to do a synopsis of when Dr. Eggman's ship fucked the Blue Typhoon?
I guess I'll do this one.
Sorry, bad joke, I know.
Okay, so... Oh, I'm trying to remember what happened. Okay, so right, so where we last left off, Sonic got beaten and now he's drowning inside the giant planet water thingy, and he was like, "Oh, Sonic, like, no, there's nothing we can do." So the team's like all like sad, like, "Oh, all hope is lost. What can we do?" And then, as Roger says, the Robotnik ship decides to fuck the Blue Typhoon. But I guess no, we gotta, join forces, like we did in Sonic Adventure 2 to stop a greater threat. So they're trying to discuss what they can do to stop the final Nova. I think that's final Mova, or whatever it's called. I know Rhino pointed out in the comments. But yeah, so they're discussing, like, okay, let's see. Oh, I know, let's use Eggman's ship to help power up the cannon, and we'll use all the energy of the Master Emerald to shoot off the Yeah, the big cannon thing. Because, yes, instead of having someone inside it, it's going to be shooting nothing but pure energy at them to at least try and stop them. So, like, oh, okay, we'll agree. Well, I hope it goes all well. So, yeah, they're getting things ready, and Shadow's fighting off the vines. And then we have Chris having a moment in Eggman's ship where he's setting up the getting the engine connected and everything. And then he asks, like, how did you end up in this world anyway? It's like, oh, well, I used the Master Emerald to... transfer its power into the teleporter device. And then Robotnik's like, I see. If we use up all of the Master Emerald's energy, then you won't be able to use it to go back home. It'll take years for it to regenerate, or at worst, you might end up dying when going back. So Chris is like, well, it's a sacrifice that I must make, because I will regret if I have to leave this world without helping. So he makes the sacrifice, and Deku and Boke are all happy, like, hey! And so, yeah,
so
they get
our
all
army, and you're gonna be our subordinate.
Yeah, but that's only in the Japanese version. English dub is much different.
Yeah, sadly.
So they get the engine connected. Knuckles is channeling the Master Emerald as we slowly see it cracking up. But yeah, they managed to have enough energy and shoot off the giant cannon. And basically the blue typhoon's going all, I'm a fire in my laser! Which seems to do the job in, well, killing off the other two Metarexes. And so while that's going on, we see Sonic is actually still alive and is kind of stuck in this big limbo where as he's running in this endless cycle of apparently memories of like sadness and anger, and main Metarex leaders telling him about it. It's like, yeah, well, I'm still gonna keep running. You are foolish, hedgehog. Just keep running. There's nothing you can do to stop us. It's like, yeah, well, same to you. So that's going on, and Amy still sees Sonic, who I guess resurfaces. And so she, I guess, commits suicide by jumping out of the ship when the vines destroy it. So she falls into the water, and Sonic catches her. It's like, oh, I won't let you die like this. And then suddenly a giant bubble surrounds them, and they get lifted out. It's like, oh, it's the power of our planet egg. Well, Japanese version. I think the English dub, it's power of our love, that kind of spiel. But yeah, so they make it out. It's like, oh, everything's well, yay. But then the Metalex leader's like, you fools, this isn't my true form, for now this is my true form. And then he turns into a giant walnut.
A rocket face.
No, it becomes a shriveled testicle.
Oh, God. See, this is why I can't reproduce. You bastards ruined it for me.
Wah, wah. Man, I'm so shocked they gave Amy that moment. I was so expecting Chris to be the person to have a romantic scene with Sonic.
I guess they got so many complaints from the Son Amy fans. They're like, okay, we'll do it just...
His girlfriend gets a romantic scene instead of Chris for once. Shocking.
Yeah, so
I did want to quickly clarify that they in the English dub they did not say, "Oh, it was the power of our love." They just say something out there is protecting us.
It's God, because have to be religious.
Yeah, God hears you, Sonic.
It's kind of weird they removed that, because it's kind of cool that the Planet Egg finally has like a, because it's basically their god from their planet, like you could say.
Well, yeah, so they turn in. Yeah, the planet turns into a giant walnut, and Cosmo's like, "Oh, wow." So it's kind of weird. In the English dubs, it's like, "Oh, like I'm here," and then her crest glows. But in the Japanese version, she just says, "Oh, dark oak," and then it glows.
So yeah, now we're really in Sonic Frontiers territory. So is Cosmo gonna be like Sage and now jump into a spaceship and start shooting at the walnut? And then sacrificing herself? And then being rebuilt by
Robotnik? Nope, I'm not gonna say anything. Nope.
You'll find out in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Great. So I guess we're getting our Sonic Frontiers adaptation. Sonic X is really ahead of its time.
Something they added to the 4Kids stuff, which was so dumb, was like the Planet Egg, saves Sonic and Amy and like floats them out of the water, and like in the Japanese, in the original one, it just like does that and then it goes away. But in the English dub, they actually add like a sound effect. It's just like cartoonish bubble pop sound when it goes. It sounds so out of place.
There's the answer. They were saved by Aquaman.
But then again, the sound effects in the Japanese or American version are night and day anyway. And like Japanese version is very like scary and atmospheric with just sound effects. This is beating heart.
Yeah.
Well, in the American version, still just noise and music everywhere and slapstick sound effects. So well, you're not really getting the same atmosphere across there, buddy.
Yeah, that's why the Japanese version is always the best when it comes to the auditory department.
Building atmosphere, yeah.
I do want to point out like how this episode is a bit dark and depressing, especially the scene in at least in the Japanese version with Sonic running in a void and Dark Oak is like trying to bring him down, like you're doomed, you're finished, whilst having ghosts attack him. And I was watching the 4Kids version. I found that they cut that bit out, so he just appeared in floating in midair above the forest.
Yeah, it is kind of weird that, in the English dub, the whole purgatory scene is much shorter in that version.
I can imagine it did feel very Japanese. I was kind of disappointed when he said, "Oh, here's the memories of all the plants that died." I was just kind of expecting like slow motion, like Vietnam's flashback scenes of just bunnies eating carrots and all that. It's like, oh, the poor plants being eaten.
The poor Flicky gave his life for his country.
Oh, I'm so remember that scene in The Simpsons where like appearing out of nowhere with baseball bats.
It's
Like, little Flicky.
But yeah, speaking of this being GRPG, yeah, that's that talk with the final boss as Sonic really was GRPG.
Yeah.
I love that when the villain has this huge like philosophy and is all like trying to explain things and being all poetic, and Sonic just has these basic answers. I'm just running. Like, I have friends.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Like, the guy has this huge philosophy, and Sonic is like, yeah, whatever, I'm running.
You know, that's actually another difference in the 4Kids version. Because, like, so in the Japanese version, like, Sonic's response to all of Dark Oak's taunting is like, it's not over, I can still run. Whereas, like, in the English dub, like, when he's talking about, like, all of the destruction that animals create, that plants don't create, because plants are peaceful, Sonic says, destruction. You would know about that, wouldn't you?
That's kind of a good comeback, yeah.
Yeah, that is another weird difference, how in the English dub, he specifically mentions, like, animals causing all the destruction, while in the Japanese version, it's more kind of vague, where he's like, oh, like, every other, like, creature in the galaxy, sort of thing. So he's not that quite, specifically prejudiced in the Japanese version.
They do bring up the whole beast versus plants theme there. I kind of wish they brought up more. Yeah, go ahead, Luke.
I want to quickly bring up something. Something that happened in the previous episode I suddenly remembered was when Shadow was fighting the final mover thing. He was throwing something that looked like seeds. I don't know what there actually was.
Sunflower seeds. Maybe that's
Yeah.
it. Eat this, bozo.
No, it's high in sodium.
Yeah, it's that sunflower cereal. Yeah, 2 scoops, bitch.
Another thing with the difference between 4Kids and Japanese I noticed is that in the 4Kids version, Cosmo's Jewel actually talks, and it's the voice of the mother, Earthia. I don't remember the Japanese version doing that.
Nope.
Yeah, it doesn't have
in the Japanese version, Cosmo is like having an internal monologue, but in the English dub, for some reason, it's Earthia, speaking to her through her amulet, which was also another thing that was changed earlier in the episode, is like when they're all talking about the fact that Sonic is gone, and in the original, like, Cosmo is like, oh, we have to have hope in Sonic, he'll get through this. Whereas in the 4Kids dub, she's like, my pendant lets me see the future! He'll be fine!
My pendant sees all and knows all. I'm a fucking fortune teller, baby.
In 5 minutes and credits were roll.
It's like, this all would have been good to know beforehand.
Yeah.
Bring that up out of nowhere. Yeah.
So yeah, while Japanese version, it's very Japanese. The whole like, oh, I have faith, he's like still alive, blah blah blah. But at least it's better than freaking fortune teller Cosmos. Like, oh great, that's another Sonic Forces connection. You know, Tails like somehow predicting the future. The whole like, oh, you're that Sonic from another dimension. Yibba.
Oh god.
Fucking retcon.
Man, we're really bashing the games today, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, hey, I'm here, so if you bring up Sonic Forces, then I'm like, there will be hellfire upon this game. Yeah.
Apparently.
So back to making fun of this episode instead of the games. There was, I love there's this part where like Shadow is like tug of warring against Dark Oak.
Oh
and,
yeah.
Like, and it's funny because like he's struggling really hard, and it never goes anywhere. And then like they use the Sonic Power Cannon because of course any problem is solved by the Sonic Power Cannon, even when it doesn't have ammo. And so they like blow a hole through Dark Oak, and like this in turn destroys the tendrils that Shadow was fighting with. But he's still in the pose the entire time as if he's struggling against him.
Yeah.
I guess the coldness of space finally caught up to him.
He just stood there for the rest of the episode doing nothing.
Yeah, pose dramatically. Huh.
I do like the fight with the Chaotix fighting the Metarex because they all got their different abilities. Like Espio was throwing ninja stars, and Vector had like fire breath, which I believe was from Sonic Heroes. I can't remember what Charmy was doing.
Nothing.
Well,
He was carrying Vector.
Yeah, so now it's like, okay, now who? Cream or Charmy?
Well, Sonic X and Charmy, apparently.
You kind of cut out a bit there, Melting Man. I didn't quite hear it.
Oh, sorry, I was saying, yeah, Charmy's carrying Vector, so now it just leaves us the question, which flyer is the strongest, Cream or Charmy?
Well,
Big is bigger than Victor, so.
Big is way heavier than Vector, but Omega is way heavier than both of them.
That's
Yeah. So Rouge wins by a mile.
Yeah.
good times.
Omega is very chunky.
Yeah, I'm
And
really
besides,
surprised
she
they just threw in the Sonic Heroes reference with the fire breath because they didn't set it up. I completely forgot about that. So I was completely caught off guard. It's like, is this a joke? Did we miss a joke where he was eating spicy food or something? But yeah, it's pretty cool to see the Chaotix actually serious for once. It's been a very long time.
And in fact, I think this is the only Sonic Heroes reference we get in the entire series.
Other than the Chaotix generally being there, yeah.
Oh yeah, with the designs, yeah.
Alright, so I just checked the weights of Big and Vector, and Big is exactly 40% heavier than Vector.
There you go.
Ah, yeah.
Vector is exactly 200 kilograms, and Big is 280.
Yeah, then Omega's much more heavier, but of course, knowing Rouge is like, yeah, she needs all that great, big, bouncing ears.
Ears.
Right.
Yeah, ears. Ha ha.
But yeah, I have to admit, I was almost shocked when I saw the Chaotix just jump onto the dragon. Like, I was not expecting them to be that badass. Like, you see the giant dragon in front of them and just hop on. Like, oh, okay. Finally, someone else other than Sonic and Shadow actually get to, Knuckles, get to do some big heroics. And it's the
Yay, we're not useless. Yay, we're not useless anymore.
They stop making the fourth wall jokes and immediately they're some of the strongest characters out there, yeah.
I also like to point out that I like how they made Chris more serious and mature in this episode, being as he's now 18 years old, and it's a bit of a massive improvement from how whiny he was in the very early episodes, and getting along with Eggman, and they seem to be earning each other's respect as well.
To be fair, that's been during the entirety of season 3. Yeah, Chris is a lot better in this one, yeah. But yeah, we did get a pretty good scene with them all together. And wow, Danny
Yeah, that was
and the girl whose name I keep forgetting got a cameo 40 seconds. I guess that's...
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was a bit where they all appeared, and it was like, I'm here, and you get like Chuck with a banner going like, I'm here as well.
So they immediately had
yeah.
the screen time quadruples that they had this entire season. Just with a 4-second cameo they got.
Yeah, that shot with,
Her name was Frances, by the way.
Yeah, the name you keep forgetting about. Yeah.
How can I forget? She did so many things in this series.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's next to Sam Speed and Michael Jackson. Yeah, and of course, in both versions they had to remove the Speed name off of the English dub, which I can't remember if that's the first time or if it's just a common thing, like spelling bad, blah blah blah.
To be fair, I read in an interview that it wasn't 4Kids removing that. It's a Japanese studio that did that for the international release. So there's one thing we can't blame 4Kids on.
Yeah. But yeah, the scene with Chris and the Robotnik's henchmen, I don't know, I'm not sure which one I like better. I kind of like the English dub, when they're like, hey, we kind of underestimate you, kid. You're not so bad after all, yeah. But of course, in the Japanese dub, they're more like, hey, you're great, you should join our side, that kind of thing. But I guess in some ways, it's kind of a nice, it kind of feels like a nice callback to when Deku and Boko kind of previously reformed in a few episodes, yeah.
Yeah, shame they didn't really follow up much on that. But yeah, they had a pretty good conversation, and especially with Robotnik actually bringing back the whole teleportation thing. It's nice that I'm finally actually exploring what the actual consequences and all that.
Yeah, and apparently he even respects, Japanese version, he respects Chris's request about, like, not telling anyone about, like, making the big sacrifice, and he's like, oh, I promise, that kind of thing.
Yep.
So I think, in the English dub, he's just all like, oh, you're tougher than you look, kid, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Dr. Eggman's really Chris's daddy. Like he didn't have enough parental figures. He already had Tanaka and his grandpa and his actual dad. Lucky Chris. Why does he always have storylines that he's so lonely and sad? Lucky kid. The luckiest kid in the universe, don't it?
Now the question remains, has this episode changed Ewan's entire look on Chris?
Ewan, has he?
You there, Ewan? Speak to me, mate!
CPR, clear!
No, do not do that, please.
Well, waiting with hold breath about your answer.
Yeah, waiting for the dramatic answer.
The answer... Well, what was the question again?
The episode, the one we talked about, how Chris decides to make the ultimate sacrifice to have the Master Emerald use up all of its power to defeat the Metarex, instead of using it to, make his way back home. Giving up that chance to return to his home planet, that kind of thing.
Does that mean you like him more than you did before?
No, he's still a selfish little prick.
There you go.
Alright.
I'd want to make sure I stay right here to be with Sonic, because I want to have butt sex with him.
Oh, there's a joke we haven't done in a while.
Yep.
Oh, that's your job, Melting Man. You're the creepy joke
Yeah.
guy.
Well, he still was complaining about the whole thing, so I had to drop it, so that's why.
As for me, I didn't really like how it's made as main character status in the early seasons, but in the current season, I do like how he's been made as like a token human character.
Yeah, he's a lot less focused, so it works way better now.
Yeah, but of course, as we all know, for human protagonists in this series, we all know that...
We know what? You cut out.
Geez, we're dealing with some connection problems. Or maybe it's my end, but anyway, it's like, human protagonists, despite Chris's sacrifice and all that, we all know that it should have been Helen.
Indeed. Oh, well, so he got a 5-second cameo in this episode, so there you go.
Yee. I think that might be the last time we'll see Helen.
Also, I just found out that Helen actually has the same voice actress as both Charmy and Cosmo.
Oh wow.
I didn't know all three of them had the same voice actress. Also, even funnier is Tails' voice actress is named Amy, Cosmo's voice actress is named Amy, and Amy's voice actress is not.
Amy, and Bob.
Yeah,
or whatever the actress's name is for
Lisa.
Ah, Lisa, that's it.
That's always confusing when one of the other staff members does have the name of the main character. I had that problem always with the Power Rangers, I think, where one of the actors is called Jason, but it's not the character actually playing the character. Jason.
Right, yeah. Jason David Frank played Tommy Oliver and not Jason.
Always fun when you get that sort of thing. Confuses you as a kid. No, the actor.
R.I.P. Jason David Frank.
Rest in peace.
Oh yeah, speaking of Helen and last appearances and whatnot, I think I noticed that this particular episode, in terms of the Japanese version, this is the last time we're going to be seeing that kind of end credits scene with, like the buildings and Sonic walk in and then they see Sonic and Amy together, because the next 2 episodes the credits are much different, the visuals are much different, but I'm not going to say it because that's getting into spoilers.
Yeah.
Alright, fair enough. I mean, I guess I have to be dramatic for the final episodes.
Yeah, we have to say goodbye to all the buildings and whatnot. Though I always did like that ending. I like the atmosphere. Nice night scenes and daybreak and all that.
Indeed. That's why anime are very good at creating beautiful landscapes and atmosphere. That's why so many of our darn it, can't come up with a name. People of our generation want to go to vacation in Japan. So this anime made us fall in love with the country.
Ah, yeah. I know I have when I took my vacation there a couple of years ago.
There you go.
So I went and lived the dream.
You lucky bastards. Oh well, me and my wife are saving up for it as well. One day we'll go.
Now, if only I can save up enough money or find some time to go to the UK or Europe so I can actually see my brother-in-law's mother's side of the family that still live there. And of course, see all the rest of you knuckleheads.
I was about to say, you're going all the way to UK. You're not gonna visit us.
Oh no! I'll find a way to meet there. I feel like I might have better luck with Luke and Ewan, but who knows where exactly it is? I kind of forgot.
Why do you say that so threatening? Almost like I'll find you. I find you out. It's like
I'll find you, and I will dump my entire Archie Sonic collection.
Your threats would work better if you didn't cut out all the time.
So the threat I was making up was, I will find you, Roger, and I will give you my entire Archie Sonic collection, so that you'll have no excuse to talk about them now on Dissected.
The terror.
Yeah. Well, on the other hand, it should be going like this. Yeah, don't worry, Roger. I shall find you.
We can arrange a meetup. You don't have to find us one by one. So a little too much hopping around, I guess.
Yeah, we'll just all use Google Maps there.
There you go. Just have to find our address.
Do it.
But back to topic again. This exciting episode. Anything else? Vector, Espio, and Charmy playing Shadow of the Colossus. Knuckles having an awkward sad face. Shadow one-manning, pushing a whole dragon away.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and the Master Emerald is shattered again. So yeah.
Cream making references to the gameplay of founding Master Emerald Charge.
Yep.
One thing is, this might be a bit inappropriate, but at the beginning you said like how Eggman's ship has screwed the Blue Typhoon. It doesn't help that he said that it's docking.
Yeah. I guess he really liked that one magazine promo for like the 32X. Yeah, Mommy, what are those consoles doing?
There you go. Would be kind of clever if it was a Sega and Sega CD and Sega 32X reference or something.
Yeah. So like, yeah. So I don't know. Maybe the big world thing that the Metrics are, that's the Genesis. The Blue Typhoon is the CD, and the Eggman ship is the 32X.
Or the Blue Typhoon is Sonic 3, and the Eggman ship is the Knuckles cartridge.
Oh yeah.
Could have made some jokes about it, but they didn't. Missed opportunity. Instead, it just made sex jokes instead. Yay!
We'll be docking so you can actually upgrade Sonic and Knuckles. Yay! Except it's Sonic 1, so you're stuck with Blue Sphere. No!
The terror. Yeah. So the anticlimactic end of 2 of the Metrics, just decapitated, pretty dark, and it even kept it in 4 kids. I think that was shocking.
Yeah, I think they're kept in both versions. Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess why. Yeah.
One comparison I have noticed between the Japanese and the 4 kids one is when Sonic was in the forest and you hear Dark Oak talking to him. In the Japanese version, you can hear Dark Oak's voice and it's very deep and booming and very intimidating. But in the 4 kids one, his voice is a bit robotic and it's not, that intimidating. If you understand me.
Yeah, actually, he still has that voice changer stuck in his throat.
Yeah.
Not to make it too scary for the kiddies, I guess.
Yeah, because I do prefer Dark Oak's Japanese voice, personally.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
He definitely
it does
like the
sound pretty
Japanese. Yeah, it's definitely good, and especially it can sound like very quiet at times, like still threatening but very quiet, like in the Purgatory scene and others.
They're pretty good at that. Those nihilistic, the world must end villain voices. Even if it's a cliche, I'm not a big fan of. Oh well.
Yeah, the whole there will be new world order. Yeah.
Oh well.
Apparently, Dark Oak's Japanese voice actor is also Zavok.
Oh wow! So there's another Sonic Lost World connection there.
Oh, wow.
Jeez. Yeah, went from best villain to worst villain.
Man, I'm shocked he wasn't Mom. That would be even better.
Jeez.
And he was also the original voice of Poochie in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Of course you were. I almost thought you was about to say Pochi from Simpsons.
Yeah, same here.
Here.
Yeah, Japanese voice of Poochie.
I was thinking Poochie from the Yoshi games.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Why not?
Oh, but he is apparently the Japanese voice of Reverend Lovejoy from The Simpsons.
Oh, there you go.
That's interesting.
From a nihilist to a
Kind of makes
Catholic priest.
his dialogue a lot more interesting knowing that.
Yeah. Yeah. So hey, I guess Black Oak really is a priest with his constant preaching of the whole new world order and light and darkness and blah blah blah.
Indeed, he is. Always fun to track voice actors like that. To see funny twists and turns.
Yeah, which leads to fun fan art of characters dressing up as another character that share the same voice actor.
Yeah, of course. Most fun is always Big the Cat and Duke Nukem.
I'm kind of surprised no one's done that with the Sonic characters, because there's definitely some connections, at least more current stuff. So Shadow, Kurt Thornton does Shadow and Syax. Then you have Axel, who's Quentin Flynn does him, and Silver, used to. And same deal with Knuckles, who also did the voice of Aced in the Kingdom Hearts Key, the guy with the bear mask.
I actually had a mini series on YouTube about this when Quentin Flynn was announced as the new voice of Silver. I made a series called Silver Tries to Be, where it starts off with Silver dressed up as Spider-Man from Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and just using quotes of Spider-Man from that game. And then there was a sequel where Jason Griffith was Iron Man one time, so it was Silver as Spider-Man and Sonic as Iron Man.
You could do that a lot. I mean, Roger Greg Smith also did a lot of voices in Assassin's Creed and the Lego Marvel games. So.
And then I did one where Silver was Raiden from Metal Gear Solid.
Did you have him as a news anchor?
No.
That would have been great, because, Quentin Flynn did Chick Gizzard Lips in Crash Tag Team Racing.
Oh, yeah, he did!
Yeah, and coincidentally, in Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel, he's voiced by Roger Craig Smith. So that's even more Sonic and Silver connections.
And I did do one of Silver Tries to Be Axel from Kingdom Hearts.
Nice.
Good stuff. So, shall we move to the British comics?
Yeah, it's time for Ewan's time to shine.
Yeah, he hasn't talked much.
For the
Poor
time.
Ewan.
I know, I'm very quiet at the moment.
Still exhausted from the awesome artwork you created.
Yeah. It's just, but then again, it's like, with only 30 minutes to go, and yet everyone's saying like, oh, maybe you should draw Luke in like sort of like that cloud pose, and like, awesome, and with Scrap being like, oh, draw me like that, so like Mad Hatter guy from that Alice game, and I'm just like, the amount of looks I was giving you lot is like the equivalent of me about ready to thump you lot.
Well, that wasn't meant for you. That was meant for me. Sorry.
We're being too hard on poor Ewan.
Yeah.
Sorry, those
Let's
requests
take
were
a-
supposed to be for me, not for you. Did you actually do that?
I don't know. I mean, I wasn't properly reading it. I was just noticing like characters suggestions about what they're doing and such, and just like,
Sorry,
God,
man. We
this is
didn't want
coming
to cause
up
you
to me.
that stress. That was meant for me.
well, if it makes you feel any better, when I already promised to do the thumbnail for the next live stream, so you can have a break from that.
Yeah, we can't give Melting Man all the complicated requests.
Yeah.
But right, Sonic Fleetway. Yet again, we're just gonna do story by story instead of issue by issue. I think that works a little better.
Yeah. I mean, let's just have a little small gander at the front covers.
Sure.
So,
why
I
'cause-
am unprepared for the stream because I forgot we were doing Fleetway, so I didn't read any. So I will be
Blasphemy.
sitting these out.
you
Poor
incompetent
Sal.
fool.
Oh well, you can still commentate on the beautiful artworks, I suppose, like the beautiful
Yeah.
Dr. Eggman,
Yeah.
Angel.
Sonic jumping through a
yeah.
time warp.
Yeah, Robotnik's now Cupid. Yeah.
Yeah. But I just kind of find it funny, like how he's literally just shooting fire arrows at everyone down there. Like,
Yeah.
here's my love to you all.
Burning love.
Well, at least Robotnik is still wearing his clothes, because I mean, could you imagine that version of Robotnik dressed as the actual Cupid?
No, all I'm just thinking about though is like, you know, how Robotnik normally dresses up when he's in like different areas in Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, often wearing like, you know, Egyptian outfits or togans and so.
Oh yeah,
I imagine it'll be like that,
yeah.
even down to having like a jewel in his belly button.
Yeah. To Robotnik, from Robotnik with love. How thoughtful of me.
Yeah. And of course, that one issue being 72 with the skunk, apparently that one came with a scratch and sniff stink sticker, which I ended up putting in my Sonic the Hedgehog yearbook. Don't know why though, but it's still there.
Do love the design of the robot thing because it looks like something out of a 2000 AD comic.
Yeah, almost big like, huh? Or the Rocket Knight game or something. Yeah.
Mm. Well, now that I look at it, it kind of reminds me of Raz from the Gex the Gecko games.
There you go. Many possibilities.
Yeah, but yeah, that scratch and sniff in one of the covers. Yeah, with it's scratch and sniff, and it smells like nothing because I'm reading this for scans.
Yeah. So alas, we can't test the scratch and sniffer. The second issue tells us we get an Amy pin-up, and we didn't get that one either. So I don't know how sexy that one was supposed to be.
But yeah, I'm sure we're all looking forward to what sort of amazing fan art people have done. But
There we do get
don't
very
wear-
sexy art, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, especially that one picture involving Robotnik. But more on that later.
Oh yes.
All right, later
It's
then. Fair enough.
Yeah, I suppose I'll best do the main story of Return of the Chaotix.
Yes, Return of the Chaotix, Part 4. Go ahead. Fire off.
Okay. So just to catch up, the Brotherhood of Metallics, aka the Metal Sonics, have basically gone back in time and changed the past. So the whole planet Mobius is now literally just a giant factory, and apparently they supposedly killed all the organics on the surface, but it turns out like they're all hiding underground, including Dr. Kintobor, which Sonic questions like, "Do you know Robotnik?" He's like, "Who's Robotnik?" "Robotnik's you!" Dun dun dun. But yet apparently the past has been changed, and yet Kintobor questions like, "Well, how comes you haven't been affected by the past?" And Vector assumes that Miracle Planet has something to do with it, but Sonic says, "I don't care about that. Let's just go back in time and sort this out." And sure enough, they question to the Omniviewer if they can go back to the exact point when the Metallics interfered with the timeline. And he said, "Oh yeah, sure." And so they all make their way to Omniviewer whilst Kintobor hands over Sonic a anti-metallics device, which hasn't been tested because no one's ever been ever gotten close to a metallics to even try it out. Which could be dark implication that they got killed or they were just too cowardly to give it a go. But anyway, as the Omniviewer hurtles through the timeline, they end up stopping partway through as they encounter 3 metallicses that are basically just came back from where they were going in the timeline. So the Chaotix and Sonic attack. Never mind. I was just wondering who that was, but yeah, the Chaotix and Sonic end up fighting the metallics, with Sonic managing to plant a device on one of the metal Sonics, which starts going haywire and begins shooting all the other metallicses. And just as they head back into Omniviewer to go back in time, Sonic finds that one of them was carrying a rotten egg, and Sonic decides, oh, I'll just take it with me, and the Omniviewer is pulling a whole bunch of faces questioning why Sonic ever brought that egg with him. But they make it through back in time, where they arrive at the origins of how Sonic became blue. Hold on.
Indeed. With all the same dialogue. It's even the same artist, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the same. Maybe? I believe it could have been. I haven't checked lately on that one. But yeah, they witnessed like the birth of the blue Sonic with a massive kaboom, like revealing like all it takes is one big kaboom and Sonic turns blue. But Sonic realizes like the rotten egg he brought with him was the thing that altered the timeline, so he puts it back in the fridge, and they jump to 24 hours later, where the past Sonic and Kinterbor discover the rotten egg in the fridge, and Sonic tugs at a random wire, tripping Kinterbor into the computer console, thus turning him into Dr. Robotnik. With Sonic just pretty much realizing like he helped create Robotnik, but realizing the fact that what he did, it means like the metallics haven't converted the planet yet, and sure enough, when they zip back to the present, they see that Mobius has been unaffected. So they make their way to Gate Crash Robotnik, who's furiously telling his robots to find Sonic, but Sonic says, "No need, here I am." And then Sonic pretty much explains to Robotnik about the whole what's been going on. He says, "That is the most ridiculous story I have ever heard." And of course, but Porker basically questions like, well, why would the Metallics want to get rid of Robotnik? Isn't he responsible for creating the Metallicses? But it was revealed that by Grimer that he was the one who designed and created the Metallicses, and the fact that Robotnik built the self-destruct program that was built into them. But with Sonic just getting very agitated over Robotnik for basically just having them go on a wild goose chase, when all he had to do was just activate the self-destruct button. But he just wanted to see, if whether or not the Metallics would destroy him or not. And just before Sonic is about to pummel Robotnik, Porker basically reminds about the fact, there's a bigger issue going on here we've got to sort out, and just before Robotnik is able to actually get the device, the Brotherhood of Metallics all gate crash into Robotnik's office and basically cause chaotic destruction, and everyone's getting punched or bitch slapped by robots and all that sort of stuff. Robotnik quickly goes to get the self-destruct button, but gets grabbed by the Emperor Metallics, and the Emperor starts to crush the self-destruct button, and Sonic was able to use his quick speed and snatch it off from the Metallics and activates it, thus destroying all of the Metallicses for good. With Sonic pretty much indicating that whole thing was anticlimactic, and he was about to have another go at Robotnik about what he could have done, because of his actions have almost resulted in the destruction of Mobius and everything, but he decides just to walk off with the Chaotix, because there's no point in basically hammering it in his head at that point. Grimer magically pops up out of nowhere and pretty much mentions and he just basically mentions the Metallics were a good design, but they need to be changed because the Sonic basis is too unstable, and thus shows his plans for a Knuckles-themed Metallics. And thus the story ends there.
Dun dun dun. Yeah, kind of shame we didn't get a origin story for where Grimer came from. That's a bit of a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, at least we get to see Fleetway Sonic's Metal Knuckles, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, we do get a Metal Knuckles later on down the road, but I mean, the overall design is kind of similar, but there have been some changes later on, but we'll obviously do comparisons when that happens. If we remember, of course.
It is interesting how they have this time travel trope where, like, the hero is somehow involved with the creation of the villain.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool twist. A bit of a Back to the Future 2 action. Kind of. Especially how pissed off Sonic looks like. If you see it out of context, you think evil Sonic is just gone evil. It's like, take that, Kintobor, you nice guy.
Oh, yeah. I imagine they do this for, like, people on Twitter taking, like, comics out of context, and then they're like, oh, that's what the series is all about, blah, blah, blah.
It's so easy to do it out here, yeah, because we know Sonic is angry because he's not happy with himself. But out of context, it looks like he's just gone mad.
Yeah.
No, that's the fun of taking things out of context, I suppose.
Yeah, I did notice there is a weird spelling error when Sonic explains, like, oh, Ovi Kintobor is actually Robotnik, but it's weird because, like, in the text bubble he says, like, oh, Ovi Kintobor is actually Ovi Robotnik, even though the name tag clearly says Ivo Robotnik.
Whoops. Oh well. I find it funnier that Sonic is not even staring at Robotnik, like, at this terrifying giant man growing out of nowhere, but yet Sonic is staring into a different direction. It's like, no.
Yeah, yeah, he's like, ooh, something shiny.
Exactly. He's staring at the text box. Like, the text looks like, it's like, this is, of course, Robotnik, blah, 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 blah. He's, like, reading that. So, oh, okay.
Maybe he, like, heard the weird spelling, typo. He's like, wait, did he say Ovi Robotnik? What?
That's what Sonic is staring at.
Well, on the panel, it looks like Sonic is looking at the footnote.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's really funny. Kind of cool to have Robotnik's old design again. Surprised they keep the continuity up. Like, that's always my problem with Sonic Team. Like, when they change something, they just don't care about continuity. It's like, no, that's what he looks like now. Just go with it.
Yeah, it's definitely a much more like demented and threatening version of Robotnik in his old look in this panel.
Indeed, which makes it weirder how he's mostly the good guy, more or less, in this story, or at least neutral. Oh wow, it's fun, but yeah, the more threatening design of Robotnik, and he looks so sad in most panels. It's so weird to see him sad and scared.
Yeah, and then of course with Fleetway's Robotnik, they always have this weird thing with the mouths. Like, the whole bit where Sonic and his friends are coming out of the Omni Viewer. Yeah. And Robotnik's like, what? It looks like some invisible hands are, like, pulling his, like, lips full wide. Like, let's see them pearly whites, Robotnik.
It's kind of like someone put a blow dryer to his face.
Oh, yeah.
Like in that one episode of The Simpsons where Homer's like, now let's dry your eyes.
Maybe that's why the mouth is always designed like that. There's like someone underneath him that's constantly blowing on a hairdryer.
They think he has a superhero cape, so they try to give him dramatic wind, so his cape waves in the wind. He doesn't have one.
They're trying to air dry his mustache, but they keep going for the mouth.
There you go. He just has a constant hair dryer for his mustache going on.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, fun story. Man, the Omni Viewer really has scary face expressions in this one. Especially when he just flies up to the buildings. Like, ah!
It's like he's going all it's like he's going all kamikaze there. Yeah.
Die!
But then again, though, Sonic was carrying a rotten egg, so naturally that's why he was like going like, "Oh, what you got to get the frick out of me! For God's sake, this thing for ages."
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I absolutely love the panel in issue 72 where you see like an entire army of metallics coming towards them. I don't think you probably see these many metal Sonics in one place.
Oh yeah, the whole the leader in the army. I think that's one of the more iconic images for the metallics.
Well, must have been a pain to draw, yeah. Although I'm sure there's some copy pasting going on. I don't know if they had the technology back then.
No, I think that's all hand drawn.
Yeah, I imagine they didn't have the technology to copy and paste stuff.
Yeah, and I
Poor
think.
artists.
Yeah, I think it's still just. It's still just Richard Elson doing all of the drawing, inking, and colouring in.
Whew, that's
So
some
no
busy
second
work
help.
days, man. Hey, yeah, it still looks pretty good. Good artists.
Mm-hmm.
You Brits know what you're doing.
Yeah, and I've also noticed in 72 as Sonic activated the self-destruct mechanism, I've noticed Robotnik also getting a derpy face.
Yeah.
Like you-
Right, well, hit them with mushrooms.
Yes, especially considering like he must have the artist made a bit of a mistake and basically painted his whole sort of like black area red and the like red area white. So it just looks a bit. So it does look a bit more goofier looking, like or like he's basically just, or he's just suddenly just at that particular moment in time he's suddenly started suffering from pink eye.
He's a beaut, all right. Yeah. Awesome artwork. As opposed to my dribbles. But yeah, I have fun as Grimer makes a cameo at the end with his fun face. But yeah, like I said, it's disappointed he didn't really get an origin because I don't think he ever had one, did he?
No, not really. He just turned
Not
up.
that I remember.
Huh.
I mean, because after all, he was supposed to be. He was originally made as Snively, but after being told by Sega, like, they don't need to do that because it's part of a different license and such, so they quickly scurried and just created Grimer as a replacement.
I also found out something interesting about Grimer's name is that it's based on Grima Wormtongue from Lord of the Rings, who was like this lackey who was a lackey to Saruman. And of course, in the letters page, they keep like pointing it out, but they keep messing up the story, the origin wrong.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that's Grimer's origin. Maybe he also backstabbed his king and all that.
That is interesting, yeah. I imagine, like, Sonic the Comic Online gives Grimer some kind of backstory, but yeah, main series, I don't recall him getting any kind of history.
So we just
Except that
assume he's poisoning a king somewhere.
Yep. Or accidentally blowing up Isengard.
Yeah, they're taking the monster to Isengard. Now, if I have anything to say about it.
Because the scene where he was like looking at the gunpowder with a lit candle, and Sam was like, "No, that's like something that you can imagine Robotnik and Grimer doing."
Sure, why not? Fun to think about. Yeah, anything else about this story? Nice revisiting of an old story.
I think we've have said almost everything we need to about it, especially all the derpy faces.
Oh yeah, especially with the sad Robotnik when he destroys them all. Like, ugh, my head.
Poor Robotnik. He really looks sad.
My beautiful head.
Robotnik is always fun when he doesn't look angry. Yeah, no, immediately
Yeah.
out of character. Right, let's move on to the next story. Knuckles, the Graveyard, part the 2. Oh, I thought we were first.
Yeah, part 2. Yep.
Yeah, I probably would do this because I did the last part.
All right, fair enough. Go ahead. Knuckles punches
Okay.
ghosts.
Yeah, basically, Knuckles was in the the graveyard to look for a replacement Master Emerald, and encounters this giant, ghostly Tyrannosaurus Triceratops head, saying like, "Oh, your ancestors killed all my people. Now you're going to pay." But Knuckles says, "No, I'm not was involved with them." And he's like, "I don't give a shit. You're going down." So he like raised this huge army of Triceratops creatures back from the dead, and so here in this issue is like, it's time to pay for your sins. But it's possible that the nearby plant called the Dryalid, which has poisons, is giving him hallucinations. But apparently they seem to be very real as they keep attacking him. So Knuckles is like destroying them, and then he announces himself that he is the spirit of the herd, and that like they attack from beyond the grave. And Knuckles says, "Oh, great, I'm fighting ghosts, aren't I?" So he saying that the Dryalid poison is taking effect, and he gets knocked out. But then he wakes up, and he appears to be in this ribcage prison surrounded by crystals. And Knuckles is saying that he only needs one of these emeralds and just leave. But the spirit is like, "No, you're staying here, mate." But Knuckles just doesn't get it. But he says like, "Oh, bajillion years ago, we all lived in peace, and we were all happy. And then your people, the echidnas, and like they all slaughtered us with horrible weapons. Ooh, people bad, that sort of thing." And so it's saying how it took years, and Knuckles was saying, "Oh wait a minute, this was like ancient history. We only did this to whole food, but I didn't think we'd destroy the whole herd." He said, "Well, the thing was, we only had like 20 males, and they were very slow." And Knuckles saying, "Oh my god, we killed them all." And Knuckles like, "No, you must pay the price." That sort of thing. Okay, let me come on. Just.
It's so funny they're so upset about spears, even though they themselves have big horns on their heads. It's like, you hypocrites.
Yeah. We hate spears, but what about you? You've got spears on your heads.
How dare you use pointy things as weapons? That's our thing.
Oh, that's different.
With big pointy teeth.
We couldn't defend ourselves.
Yeah, sorry about that, Luke. Go on.
Okay, so in this next part, Knuckles is in the prison talking to the big giant head, saying, "Oh, we didn't mean to put it into your species, and now I'm gonna." Well, he didn't care, so I'm gonna crush the prison in and kill you. And then he noticed that all the emeralds are just a bit away. But then he opened it up and said, "Oh, where's he gone? Oh, he's done a tunnel, has he?" So as the big giant head starts looking around at him, Knuckles goes out from behind him, and went through him. But it's like, "Oh, you really are a ghost." And it's like, "Well, duh." So Knuckles is like, "Well, I guess you can't touch me either." So he goes off, but then more skeletons attack him. So Knuckles tries to put some distance behind him and tries to get another crystal, but then gets attacked by another skeleton. So he goes up to the skull and knocks one of its horns out, and then he sees something glowing, which turns out to be a massive deposit of crystals. But the big giant head is like, "No, stay away from my crystal collection. I need them for my energies or something." And said, "Does that sound important? Does that sound important?" "Oh, it keeps the herd alive." But the big giant head warns that if he destroys the crystal, the spirit will be destroyed and we'll all be disappearing. But Knuckles are thinking that, if I smash it before you skeletons can stop me, I'll win. But if these skeletons get to me, I lose. So Knuckles does his best Clint Eastwood impression, and then he in this next part, just give me a quick second. Go through all this. Here we go. In this next part, he's going for trying to get the crystal before the skeletons get him. Rephrasing what he's saying. But no, he doesn't want anyone to touch his crystal collection, so he allows the skeletons to attack Knuckles. So there's a big fight going on. It's like, "Oh, I'll destroy you. My skeletons will destroy you." So Knuckles goes and destroys all the skeletons. And it's like, "Oh, well, you're all dead anyway, so why should I care?" So, and then, no respect for the dead, I tell you. So, Knuckles goes and destroys the crystals, and the big giant head goes, "No!" But then Knuckles hesitates, but he doesn't want to be responsible to destroying the last trace of the herd. And he's explaining that Knuckles' people left him alone on the island. So that he pretty much understands how they feel like about loneliness and all that. So he decided that, "Oh, you could have destroyed me, but you didn't." And it's like, "Oh, well, perhaps we're cool. Maybe take one. As a peace offering." It says, "Okay, thank you very much." So he takes it off and says, Big John Head says goodbye, and Knuckles goes off with the new emerald right into the sunset, and and learning about like maybe future generations can learn from these past mistakes, blah blah blah, that sort of thing, and that's the end of the story.
Would have been funnier if, since both are lonely, that the Triceratops kind of locks him in and keeps playing with him or something. Like, oh, you have to play with me and then drink tea and all that. After this puppet tea at a party and all that. That would have been a fun alternative story.
Like, sing a song for me, and the Knuckles goes like, yeah, it's a small one. No, not that one.
Yeah, and I was kind of thinking like, oh, he decides to leave them in peace. But then suddenly Knuckles goes back and steals the crystals, because it turns out this whole time Knuckles was actually Dr. Cortex. Bring me crystals, Crash!
There you
Yeah,
go.
it's one of those like environmental messages, like people bad, that sort of thing, and preserve species, that sort of thing.
How dare you use pointy objects to fight dinosaurs that have pointy things that attack you?
Yeah.
But
And have respect for the dead and smash her bones up into pieces.
Yeah. And then we get a flashback of the actual Echidna tribe, which is it's very interesting. That definitely led me down a bit of a rabbit hole. Deal of the Echidna Warriors thing. Because we see them in flashback, and I think I find it more weirder that we see their hands and whatnot, but I find it weirder that they don't have fingers; they're just giant mittens with spikes on their knuckles. So I'm like, oh wait, spikes on their knuckles. So I did a quick check, and Archie Sonic did the whole Knuckles has spikes on his knuckles, blah blah blah, and it turns out that this particular comic actually predates what was established in Archie Sonic by 3 years.
Yeah.
So that's quite interesting. And then with the whole concept of Echidna Warriors in general, or the tribal look. So, quick version, the first time we've seen it, as far as I know, there was a French comic, I think it's called just Sonic Adventures, that came first. Then it was this comic, and then Sonic Adventure.
That French comic even had a Tikal stand in. So I guess
Yeah,
the
they
Sonic
had
team was really planning this early on.
Yeah, they had a female Echidna. Yeah, the first female Echidna, I think. So yeah, it predates Julie Sue and Tikal and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she was a princess.
And I was also going by the timeline of like the Echidnas in Fleetway. This must have been before a future threat turns up that the Echidnas are at war with, but we can't bring them up yet because they haven't turned up yet.
Dun dun dun. Yep. A lot of lore coming.
But yeah, I do believe that with Nigel Dobbin, basically when he went to the UK Sonic conventions, he normally would sell his like comic pages, and I believe it was this story that was the ones that weren't exactly selling. Which in the end I was like, because when thinking about it, back then, it's like not really my sort of thing. Not really that interested in this story, sort of like business. But yeah, thinking about it now though, and looking at the artwork, I'm like, why didn't I buy a page from that one? Especially considering.
Oh, dinosaurs were cool.
Yeah. Dinosaurs
Yeah,
are
I mean,
cool.
like, especially considering that the like big, like 1-page panel of like all the of all the dinosaurs like walking around living peacefully, or Knuckles basically carrying that giant emerald shard as the herd goes off into the sunset, spiritually sort of thing.
Yeah, that is a pretty nice shot. And of course,
Yeah.
Knuckles with his cowboy clothes.
Yeah, with his green thing or whatever it's called. Yeah.
What's the name? It's escaping me.
Poncho? I
Poncho,
don't know.
there you go. That's the word.
Yeah.
Ah, that's it.
Yeah, it's so weird to have Knuckles' chest decoration on top of it, but then again, that's Fleetway turning it into like an actual medallion instead of
Yeah.
a sign on his body.
Just keep-
Yeah.
Yeah, because keep in mind this was all back before they had proper artwork of him to work with.
Despite that,
Which
they're
is
doing a
also
pretty
why-
good job so far. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Which is pretty much also why at the start of the when Knuckles first appeared, he was kind of like a pinkish purple type hue before he became proper red.
Yep, all because of that awkward official art.
Well, no, it's just like the artwork they were using was like the not so good American sort of renditions that they were working with, and obviously with how like Knuckles was looking, he was more of a pinkish color as opposed to red.
Yeah, I remember when I first introduced to Knuckles and saw how he's a bit pink with dreads, I assumed he was female.
Yeah.
Probably one the first one.
Yeah, those European box arts, yeah.
But yeah, I love the idea that the Master Emerald just comes from those crystals that can apparently make ghosts appear. So that puts a nice twist on Knuckles being lonely with the Master Emerald. All kinds of ghosts can constantly show up. Like this Triceratops ghost shows up. You still killed my people, you know?
And now that I think about it, I think this is the first time the Master Emeralds are given any kind of backstory.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
So apparently there's a lot of potential Master Emeralds here. They're just laying in a random cave. If Dr. Robotnik knew about that, jeez. All he has to deal with is a ghost that can't touch him.
Of course, it would take years for the Master Emerald to get a backstory and any other stuff. So, like, Archie Sonic would get one that's, well, to cut a long story short, you know how the Master was formed in the movie Sonic? Well, it's kind of like that in Archie Sonic. Just all green Chaos Emeralds and not multicolored Chaos Emeralds.
Okay, alrighty. Guess we'll see it when we ever get to Sonic Archie and need millions and millions of streams to get through them, because, geez, how many are there?
Not to mention the side comics.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess we could do something more lighter. Like, I briefly mentioned the French Sonic comic, so hey, maybe we can do that in the future before Archie.
We have to do that one. Absolutely. Yeah. But for now, we're still at Fleetway. Shall we move on to the next one?
Yeah.
From the conclusion of the evil Robotnik robot thing.
Oh, yeah, Brutus.
Brutus! Salah, you didn't read it, so you give the synopsis.
He just left.
Yeah, he's
been gone quite a while.
You cheater!
Split up an hour ago!
Yeah, he left a while. So.
Yeah, he led the moment. Like
he read your mind, Roger.
He knew I was going to have revenge.
Well, hey, since I did the previous Brutus story, I might as well do this one. Okay, so, right, yeah, Brute Force, Part 2. So where we last left off, Brutus used, Grimer created this mind transfer device, and Brutus decides to use it on Grimer so that he can have the same kind of knowledge of creating robots, that he can make badnets of his own that will serve him and only him. So Grimer wakes up from being in agony. He's like, oh, what happened? Oh, you just fainted. Yeah, it's me from the job. And yeah, Roy's like, all right, have a good day with whatever it is you're doing. So Brutus is in his own spaceship, and he's sending the troopers off to the Misery Zone, which is apparently that's where some of the prisoners that he had captured in the previous story went to. So some went to Robotnik, and some went to here. So they think like, oh, you're not going to turn us into badniks? Yay! It's like, no, on the contrary, you're going to be my badniks. Like, oh, fuck. So while that's going on, Robotnik's like, where is that Brutus? I can't find him anywhere. It's like, he left something with his mind scanner thing. What? You didn't tell me about a portable mind scanner. I didn't. So back with Brutus, it's like, all right, the troops are gathered. Now we shall begin our conquest on Mobius. So then we cut to back in Mobius, the cotton factory zone, because apparently a bunch of sheep are being forced to work for Robotnik to give them wool to make socks, and he pays them nothing. So Johnny's like, all right, well, I'm gonna free all those prisoners. And then Brutus comes in with his mutated badniks. Surrender, Lightfoot. You are outnumbered. It's like, I see that. So, all right, let's get out the next page here. It's yep. So like, oh, you think I'm alone? I can't. All right, so Lightfoot begins his battle against the new badniks. So he decides, like, well, there might be too much, but maybe I can trick them into the factory. So he calls the prisoners, like, oh, quick, get away from here. And the bandits start causing havoc, because apparently they take lessons from stormtroopers from Star Wars, because they can't hit anything. So despite giant explosion from the destruction of the buildings, like, the bandits are defeated. But then Brutus shows up, and puts on the mind scanner on him. It's like, haha, you fool! I have scanned your mind, so now I know everything! That you're disguised as Bob Binkey's traveling circus. But most importantly, I know where the Emerald Hill folks are, on Angel Island! Ha ha ha! So it seems like all hope is lost for the Angel Island folk. And... oh, okay, here it is. So he goes like, I shall go to the floating island, and go to Mushroom Hill, and capture all of them, and Robotnik will know nothing about this! Ha ha ha! So, of course, meanwhile, Robotnik's still pretty pissed off at Brutus, like, leaving off with my command, I'm gonna give him a piece of my mind! And Grimer's like, well, actually, you already did. It's like, shut up, Grimer. So, Brutus is still planning on going to Angel Island, but looks like there's kind of a malfunctioning, because now he starts attacking his own troopers. As it turns out, not only did he copy the locations of where the Emerald Hill folk are, but he also copied off of Johnny's personality, so now he believes he's a freedom fighter, so he's constantly finding, like, destroy the bandit, like, no, I must, yeah. So he goes back to his ship, uses the mind scanner to reverse the process, and then destroys it. So he no longer acts as a freedom fighter, but as at the cost of also losing the coordinates of where the Emerald Hill folk are. But he's like, bah, doesn't matter. I will continue to upgrade my bandits to become even more powerful, so that way Robotnik will be nothing more than a memory. Ha ha ha. And that's the end for now.
Dun dun dun. Wow, Johnny gets a bunch of cool moments all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Cool
Johnny.
Sonic isn't stealing his thunder.
And Johnny finally gets a spotlight moment for once.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
I do find the first panel in Section 70 a bit funny. He's like dramatically posing with Grimer.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that one Spider-Man pose. With like, Mary Jane's like killed, and Spider-Man's like, I will get you, Green Goblin.
Like Grimer's having an orgasm in the first picture.
Oh no!
Sorry about
You turned me on, Brutus.
Yeah.
Sorry. Put that in your head.
But yeah, just looking at that pose, it does look very dramatic, as it was. Like, I have saved my one true love, and swallowed his soul.
No, they'll both be shipped off the ship somewhere on the internet.
Soon I shall give my sleeping bride a bowl of potato chips. Once I find the potato chips.
Only the finest of potato chips. From whatever they sell in Europe. I don't know if they have like Ruffles or whatever. Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe he wants to have the real McCoys.
There you go. Yeah, funny comic. I love the weird designs of all the creatures. Almost look like bad guys from a different video game.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing, like, it's kind of. Sorry, it's just like how funny of like the way that Brutus designs them. It's not like simple, straight elegance or anything like that. It's just something more chaotic.
Kind of reminds me of Commander Keen bad guys or something. Yeah.
Yeah, especially that one bad thing that's like a TV set that's just come to life.
Yeah, that's a really weird looking one.
Yeah, and as Sylvia pointed out.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you. Sorry about that. It's just, but it's also with that like one square badnik where like it's chasing Johnny and it's just like almost like he's just walking in air, so like doop, 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 doop.
Yeah.
It's like they're being designed by someone who's never played a Sonic game, but had to come up with robot designs.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Are those the same sheep as they were in the Chemical Plant Zone? Or they never really made that clear, did they?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
This Chemical Plant Zone had like an army of sheep rebels, right? Well, I guess they're.
The Sheep Rebel. Yeah. I guess they're not. I guess these workers aren't affiliated with the group.
Fair enough.
They look more like random farmers.
Yeah, I guess it's not a reference.
Yeah, and also I like how this puts Johnny in the limelight and kind of makes him look like a badass version of Bugs Bunny.
Of James Dean, yeah.
Yeah, what's up, Doc?
Including slow motion jump away from an explosion scene.
Yeah. But yeah, as Sylvia pointed out in the chat, the whole scene with Brutus and the animals on screen together is like, was that done by two different artists? Because like Brutus is all like detailed and menacing, and the villagers are all like cartoony animals.
That's a very good question. As if they suddenly hired me as a guest artist.
Oh, well, this art of these characters look better than this artist that's later down the line, who I really don't like due to how he designs the animal characters.
Yeah, I think I probably get which artist you're referring to.
Yeah.
Oh boy, looking forward to that.
Not just to be fair, I've got nothing against that artist, and he's good at doing like human characters, but when doing animal characters, they just look awful.
Yeah.
I guess that's a different art, a different philosophy. Artwork. That's why a lot of artists never do humans. Everyone their style, I suppose. But yeah, generally I like the art here, so pretty good stuff.
Including how all the troopers are just vaguely like they're all the same, but yet they all have different jaws, sort of thing. And there's even a couple of points where they don't actually have teeth; they just have a simple just mouth plate, like they've got a big stiff upper lip moment. Especially when like they're all getting together to like relieve the commander of his duties due to him going mental all of a sudden. There's that one guy on the right that's just like got a pistol. It's like, right, I'm ready to kill someone.
Yeah, all the troopers are like, all right, we must relieve the captain of his duty. And then the warrior's like, wait, is this a gun? I have a gun in my head.
There's also in that particular panel in 71 where Brutus is like draining information from Johnny's mind. He's supposed to be in pain, but it looks like he's tripping balls.
First Grimer and then Johnny. So I guess that's just how the transmitter works. Like first it makes them all act like they're all high, and then they all
it's like giving them a bright brain drain.
A brain drain.
Though granted, though, with Grimer, though, like Brutus basically stunned Grimer, so naturally he wasn't exactly in pain since he was knocked out. But yeah, even then, when like Brutus was copying his mind, Grimer was still looking like also like cheerfully happy when his mind being drained.
Yeah. So in other words, brain drain. Yeah. So in other words, brain drain go.
Exactly. I can't imagine. It is the sound of brainless happiness. So, speaking of brainless happiness, oh man, this trooper. Oh wait, now I look up close. He doesn't look as happy from the distance. It looked like he has a derpy face expression in the first pages. Oh well, never mind. But yeah, fun little comic. So I guess we'll be seeing Brutus again later on.
Yep, he'll be. Yeah, Brutus will return one day. Not sure when, but he will come back.
Very soon.
There's also a story in issue 72 that we seem to have skipped, if anyone wants to do that one.
Yes, I have that one.
Oh yeah, the
Odor Zone.
Yeah. Yeah, the standalone one. Yeah.
The extra Sonic story. My God.
Sonic Extras or whatever.
So should I do this one, or does someone else want to do this one?
Oh, you can do this one.
Yeah, you can do it.
Yay, I got to do one. Even though we're terrible at it. Anyway, the Odor Zone. There was a zone that smells horribly, so of course Sonic and Tails are there. Apparently they're under attack, so Sonic and Tails go after it, and it's a zone filled with skunks, and they all are French, so I guess we continue our Looney Tunes references, and now we get Pepe Le Pew. So there's one giant skunk, and he's under attack by Robotnik and roboticized, so Sonic has to fight him, so Sonic runs up to Eggman's base, but immediately gets captured, and there's a giant skunk robot attacking him, so Sonic gets shot, and then he dies, and then it's over. I mean, he just runs more, and he runs, and then the robot explodes, and then our skunk Pepe Le Pew has this sexy pin-up picture, and the Robotnik gets a heart attack and runs away at the end.
Buff skunks, my only weakness.
I mean, especially in that panel, it looks like Robotnik's smoking something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, this Bane, do it, man.
Oh man, Sonic. Face the wrath of my thing.
Doobin!
Yeah, Tootie, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like how it's just like, look, Marcel's just like in that pose. It's like, come on, Dr. Robotnik, do me like one of your French girls.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, the giant skunk character is like something you would find on like a furry fan artist page.
Pretty much. Yes. I'm surprised I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I am sick. I am the sexy and I know it, no?
Exactly. What is it with skunks always having to be French? Is it just because Pepe Le Pew?
I imagine it's because of Pepe, which definitely times have definitely changed for the poor guy nowadays.
But hey, at least he inspired this amazing character, I guess. So, hooray!
Yeah. This
Also, I don't think there's a lot of skunk representation in Sonic.
not much.
I think there's maybe a handful of them. Because, let's see, well, there's this guy, and then there's a skunk character from those interactive Sonic books that were only released in Europe, I think. And so there was a one skunk character in Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and of course Archie Sonic, we got Jeffrey St. John, the character that everyone loves to hate. And, yeah, I think that's all I can think of for skunk characters in official Sonic media.
There you go. And maybe one of the flickies in Sonic Avenger could have been. I don't recall.
As far as I know, there's not really any... Well, okay, there was a skunk critter in, like, the adventure games, but not in the Genesis games.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Alright, so yeah, this story. It's short but sweet, I guess. A lot of Sonic running.
Yeah.
Yeah, though it does make me wonder with like how like Marcel's like this giant skunk guy, and I'm kind of like, okay, was he actually what part of the Emerald Hill folk, or is he just living on some part of Angel Island? Because it makes me wonder if it's the former, then how the hell did they like manage to avoid this guy for so long? You think with that big Robotnik would have noticed, like, oh, giant skunk, he'll be perfect for my badniks.
He's just been in a sex
Yeah.
hole so long. We didn't see that until now.
He's been in his basement making sexy videos for Pornhub.
There you go.
Oh dear.
Oh
Look,
dear,
Rachel.
oh dear.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
Yeah, he's all big and buff, and yet he still looks fashionable in a bow tie.
Indeed he does.
But yeah, apparently this was one of the stories written by Mark Miller, which was apparently all Mark Miller's stories were all written before Sonic the Comic was first published. You know, the first issue was published, so this is quite an old story that somehow just got dug up and just drawn up quickly.
Huh.
Oh, okay. So it's a prequel,
Yeah.
Kind of-
basically.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, at least sometime after, you know, Robotnik had his, like, change from issue 21.
Mhm.
And obviously before the Emerald Hill folk went to hide on the floating island.
Ah, so this is still around, like, on the island. Yeah, on the main planet, not Angel Island.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Alright, just a
But
little
yes.
prequel comic.
Yeah, it's kind of odd, like an old story that just got published now. It kind of reminds me of the old 80s TMNT with the whole Vacation in Europe side season.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, they're looking at one thing I might as well know. So looking at the pictures, like the Robotnik doesn't have his like usual troopers. He instead has the egg robos. You know, at that moment when they're roboticizing Marcel's skunk.
Yeah.
Look at the
We
bottom.
haven't
So it's
done that
like
for a while. Yeah.
just pointing that out, as well as how one skunk is having a go at another skunk for not taking his like beret off. Or
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, dude, you must take your beret off when
Yeah,
you're talking
yeah.
about the Sonic the Hedgehog.
remove the beret, yeah.
I really do like the panel with the giant robot skunk creature bearing down on Sonic, and you got like Robotnik in his eggmobile with giant pincers on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess this was their design, or at least their version of trying to design big arms from Sonic 3.
Yeah.
I guess so, yeah.
Either that or Robotnik was going to use that thing for something kinky for Marcel.
Gosh.
I give you a
Probably.
pinch.
Pinchy pinch.
Nipple pincher.
Well-
yeah.
Well, now that I
Exactly.
think about it, Big Arms was already showing up in Fleetway Sonic, so I guess this model is like a prototype or something, or
Yeah.
or maybe use something sexual, knowing that red belt around the body.
Ooh my.
But do you know what the real purpose of that machine was? To tighten Marcel's tie. That's all it was.
Ah, of course.
Ah,
Robotnik really cares about fashion.
that's me. A tying robot.
Yeah.
Well, they were like, well, yeah, only for that specific robot, because yeah, Robotnik doesn't normally wear ties.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
I guess that was the stories for today. Want to talk about the stupid
So,
fan art like Beavis and Butt at
yeah.
Sonic or
Yeah.
Amy Robot?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we all need to have a bit of a chuckle at some of these marvelous creations done by these like single-digit children.
yeah, let's all point and laugh at the kids. Ha ha ha.
To be fair, my art isn't much better, so feel free to laugh at me as well.
Yeah, I love the fan art of like into these issues where Robotnik has a girlfriend.
Oh yeah,
One of them,
yeah.
he looks absolutely demented, and another one is like a really creepy one chasing Robotnik with a frying pan.
For some
Oh yeah,
reason,
domestic abuse.
yeah.
Yeah.
'cause when I look at that one though, the one of obviously the female Robotnik about to whack Robotnik, for some reason when I look at that character, it just reminds me of a Wallace and Gromit character for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, lovely cheese, eh, Robotnik?
Probably because of the teeth.
Pile of Bakewell.
There you go.
Yeah.
The Rhino asked, did the story explain why the skunk is so huge? No, I don't think so, Marcel.
But yeah, like that
He's
one
friendly
picture of
as-
Robotnik though, it's just hilarious. Just him like looking at the other female-looking Robotnik and him making that face, it's like
Yeah. Yeah, and like the female one that looks really creepy with like the pink mustache and the bloodshot eyes and what it looks like it has ears. Look, I think that's supposed to be the eyebrows, but they look like ears.
Yeah.
For some reason, it feels like an Amy and Robotnik mix or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Amy injected with Robotnik's DNA.
There you go.
Yeah, and it looks like she just stared into the sun for too long, and now she's blind.
To be fair, the Knuckles does look very cute in the bottom. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's cute.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he has a white and blue necklace for some reason.
He's
I guess it's supposed to be a tie or something. Yeah.
I think it's his like that thing he keeps wearing around his neck the whole time in the Fleetway comics.
Oh yeah.
'Cause, you know,
Yeah, the birthmark in other Sonic media, but in Fleetway it's a necklace because they didn't have much to go off of for official Knuckles artwork.
exactly. And someone did fan art of Techno.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of her yet, but there she is.
Oh yeah, Sonic and Techno, yeah. Kind of interesting considering how people love to ship Amy and Techno much later.
But they haven't
Yeah.
had any interaction yet. Maybe in the later story.
Yeah,
Not
You
yeah.
also got this picture of Tails that if you cover his mouth up, he looks like he's got lips.
Oh yeah, cover his open mouth.
Yeah. Just the awkwardly placed mouth.
Yeah.
I'm also wondering, like, why exactly did the female Tails kiss his arm for some reason?
Why not?
I don't know. I guess Tails was trying to flex his muscles. Like, oh, Tails, you're so strong. I don't
And
know.
She just felt like kissing the arm, like, oh, your arms are so strong, I must kiss it. Mwah.
Probably.
Yeah, they have big, strong hands, don't they?
Indeed.
And yeah, they even gave the mascot for Fleetway Comics. They even gave
Yeah,
him
Megadroid.
Yeah, Megadroid. Megadroid. Yeah.
Yeah, Megadroid.
In a way, they kind of look like they could be Megadroid's parents.
Oh yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, like one's like doing the. It looks like one's like getting ready to do dishes, and the other's about ready to go golfing.
Indeed.
I wonder if this is like a very old picture though, because considering the fact like at this point Megadroid's been upgraded to his Mark II version.
Maybe. Or maybe it's just done by someone who didn't like the new design. Like, no, the original classic all the way.
Even now, they're
Yeah.
already fighting with the classic designs and new designs. Even now.
Yeah.
Speaking of stuff they already did now, we've mostly know from in the future. Here's another female Tails, although I don't think it's supposed to be like a different character. Someone just want to give Tails a dress, so. Hooray for LGBTQ representation, I guess.
Yeah, it's Tails and Drag. Yeah.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
And Tails as Robin. Not that much
Well, that
straight.
that tails.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Although for some reason it's got like 3 tails apparently.
Oh, yeah, it does kind of look like that.
Whoops. Maybe he has 9 tails.
Oh, yeah.
We don't see the others.
Yeah, or like the fact like she's like gained much more intelligence being a female, and as a result she grew an extra tail.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
And
And
that-
apparently throwaway
yeah.
photo cameras with Sonic and Knuckles. on it.
I think this is supposed to be like an original female character for Tails, but the people when they received this image, they assumed that is Tails.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Could be the editors from Sonic Fleetway made that mistake. Yeah, sure. Why not?
And, oh, yeah, then next to it there's some random kid holding up a sign, Sonic out, Knuckles in KTC?
Knuckles the comic. Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun. Poor kid, Knuckles gonna farm way further than this.
Yeah, well, don't worry, Knuckles does get his own spin-off series, but only in Archie Sonic.
Well,
and
he did actually
in
get
one
like, a
video
one-off
game, Knuckles
comic.
Chaotix.
Yeah, he got a one-off comic in the UK. Although I never could find it, despite my best efforts just to look for it.
that's
Oh,
a
there was a
shame.
one-off comic for Knuckles Chaotix?
Well, just for Knuckles, though. I'm not sure
Ah,
if the Chaotix were in this one. But
yeah, it is
kind of
interesting.
funny seeing the picture of Tails dressed as Robin for some reason. Like, what is up with his eyes?
And also, I think there's supposed to be someone standing to the left of him, but it got cut out.
Oh yeah, good.
Oh, yeah, there's a random hand there. Yeah.
Guess it was Batman Sonic then. Oh well.
Yeah.
Maybe they actually. I think they probably just found the Tails one to be more amusing, so they just put that one up instead.
Yeah,
Like,
I
look
feel
at it.
sorry for the kid who drew it. Like, yeah, I worked all hard on the Sonic as well.
Ah, yeah. That is quite a coincidence, because I think, like Archie Sonic did something similar to that, where, like, they show off this mock cover of Sonic and Tails as Batman and Robin.
But you know what's
that was
worse?
so much fun.
Like, the Sonic that's drawn is cut off by another drawing that says, "Eat my dust, Sonic." As if that other drawing is actually attacking the Sonic from the other picture that was cut off.
Huh.
Dark. But yeah,
So
sorry
the,
I interrupted you, Melting Man. What were you saying?
Yeah, so it's the 90s, like, Mega Droid that basically decided, like, the rad cool dude's like, "Eat my dust, Sonic," and just cuts him off. Because he's hip and cool 90s dude.
Yeah. It's what the 90s were all about, man. Yeah.
Indeed.
Decapitating people. But yeah, kind of cool. Like they had those like Fuji Sonic cameras, but much like with me trying to find the Sonic comics, I never could find them.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. 'Cause
They were elusive.
Yeah, because I imagine people they're probably like, sold in minimum quantities, and of course, with those kind of cameras, they're used up pretty quickly and then thrown away.
Yeah, because they're like disposable cameras, so I'm doubtful that too many would have survived, unless people
Yeah.
forgot about them completely.
Well, you literally had to send the camera to a company to develop the photos, so you never keep the camera.
Yeah.
What I remember, I'm not sure. It's been a long time ago.
Can't fully remember either.
Because I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you were allowed to open them up, otherwise the photos were immediately ruined. I think you actually had to send the actual physical camera itself to be developed, rather than.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do remember the pain of taking your camera to the chemist or something to get them developed. I had to wait a week to get them developed, and then you find out like the too much exposure, you can't see anything, that none of them in focus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, Jeffrey. I have some vague memories of like the old, film strips, and I know my parents used to have like a really old parents' friend. Well, anyway, they had like an older camera where, like, you take the snapshot in the flash, and then the photo prints out, and then you have to like wave it a bit so you can see what it is.
Well,
But yeah, that was years and years ago. Which, of course, nowadays with all digital, film development for cameras has gone the way of the dodo now.
Yeah, thank goodness for digital cameras, because those analog cameras were not fun. So much money wasted on a bunch of broken photos.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're done for today, are we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Alrighty, well, guys, thanks for joining again. Ewan, thank you for the awesome thumbnail artwork.
No prob. I deserve as much praise as needed to make it all.
It was
worth it.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Everyone praise you and give him applause.
Greetings, friends.
There we go. That's the right one.
There you go.
I hit the wrong soundbite.
Well, even Salah came back just to praise Ewan, I guess.
Yeah, it's with us in spirit. Yeah.
Well, that was the stream for today. See you next time for the Sonic X finale, I suppose, and then I will give a big analysis of what we thought of Sonic X as a whole. Or make that a separate dissected, I don't know.
It's the big epic finale, and I don't know, maybe a tease of what the next Sonic show might be? Question mark?
I haven't thought about it yet, so we'll see. But
I have one idea, but I'll save it for next time.
sure. Anyway, see you next time. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Cheerio!
Doodle pip. Goodbye, friends.
Close enough.